atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
It's clobbering time!
Good evening, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobber trekkers, and every other clobbering type thing there is out there. Welcome to Saturday Night Star Trek number 92. We indeed. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Always fantastic to have you, and great to see you on this wonderful Saturday night. We're ready for some trekking, or from deep spacing, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing it. So,
well, yeah, it's October 15th. And you know what October 15th is, right?
Maybe
it's Mark Lenard's birthday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I saw someone mention that on Twitter today.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just wanted to read a little bit from his bio, if that's okay.
Go for it. Happy birthday to the great Mark Lenard. Go for it.
Yeah. So I love Mark Lenard. I think that he is just an absolutely sparkling human being. I love him, and I love that he pulled no punches in his assessment of the way that he was treated by the franchise. So you should all know that Mark Lenard is actually a stage name. He was born Leonard Rosenson on October 15th, 1924. He died on November 22nd, 1996. He was an American actor, primarily in television. His most famous role was as Sarek, father of Spock, in the science fiction Star Trek franchise, in both the original and animated series, as well as 3 films and 2 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. He also played a Klingon in Star Trek The Motion Picture and a Romulan in an episode of Star Trek, the original series. Now, I'd love to read a little bit of his biography because, a lot of people, they're always talking all this trash about how there's this lack of diversity. So not only do I want to talk about Mark Lenard's childhood and who he is and what he's all about, but I want people to understand that diversity isn't always so upfront. And so here we are, reading from Wikipedia. Lenard was born in Chicago, Illinois, the son of Russian Jewish immigrants, Abraham and his wife Bessie, but was raised in a small town, South Haven, Michigan, where his family owned a tourist resort. He joined the United States Army in 1943 and trained to be a paratrooper during World War II, but did not see combat and was discharged in 1946 as a technical sergeant. He got his start on stage while in the Army, while earning a master's degree in theater and speech from the University of Michigan. He became known in New York City for serious drama, including Ibsen, Shaw, and Chekhov. His first notable role was that of Conrad in John Gygax's production, Much Ado About Nothing. So he did Shakespeare. In the mid-1960s, he moved his family to Los Angeles, where he played one of the three wise men in the biblical epic, The Greatest Story Ever Told, in 1965.
Wow.
Lenard is best known for his appearances in the Star Trek franchise, particularly, they're repeating here, I'll go through it quickly. In his role as Sarek, the father of Spock, Leonard Nimoy. His first Star Trek appearance was in the first season of Star Trek, the original series. However, playing the first Romulan ever seen in the series in the episode Balance of Terror. He originated the character of Sarek in the second season episode Journey to Babel and provided the voice in for Sarek in Star Trek, the animated series. He later played an ill-fated Klingon captain in Star Trek, the motion picture, which gave him the distinction of being the first actor to play a Romulan, a Vulcan, and a Klingon in Star Trek. He reprised the role of Sarek in three Star Trek feature films: Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and provided the voice of young Sarek in a brief flashback sequence in Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Additionally, he appeared as the elderly Sarek in the third season of Star Trek The Next Generation, episode Sarek, 1990, in the fifth season, Unification Part 1, 1991. Lenard's work outside of the Star Trek franchise included playing the prosecutor in Fort Grant in the Clint Eastwood film Hang 'em High, 1968.
Yeah. Wow.
He also played the character Aaron Stemple in the television series Here Comes the Bride.
Indeed.
And a hostile gorilla Urko in the television series
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
He made a guest appearance on Little House on the Prairie in the episode Journey in the Spring, Part 1, playing Peter Ingalls' older brother, Charles Ingalls. He had roles in Gunsmoke several times, including in the episode Nowhere to Run in 1968. Lenard guest starred in several episodes of the original Mission Impossible, including one with Leonard Nimoy, and in a two-part Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Lenard played a lead role in the film Noon Sunday, filmed in Guam with co-stars Kay Luke, TV series stars John Russell from Lawman, and the character actor Stacey Harris. In The Radicals 1990, which recounted the beginnings of the Swiss Anabaptist movement of the 1520s, he played a composite historical character, Herbert Hoffman, a Catholic bishop, who serves as prosecutor in the trial of his former abbot, Michael Statler. In 1993, Lenard and fellow actor Walter Koenig toured in a production of The Boys of Autumn. Lenard played a middle-aged Huck Finn who re-encounters his childhood friend Tom Sawyer after a lifetime apart. Koenig played Sawyer. Lenard died of multiple myeloma in New York City in 1996 at the age of 72. And I just want to say, Mark Lenard, I love you. Thank you for the full body of your work. I adore you. And I also adore your parting words to the people of Star Trek for what they did to you in TNG. You said it was chintzy, and I just love that you said that. And you are missed and loved, great and fine, sir.
Love the great Mark Leonard. That was well done. Thank you so much for that. I loved him, obviously, on Star Trek and stuff, but as a big fan of him on the Great Planet of the Apes TV series, which he was really brilliant on that. Great actor and sorely missed, and a wonderful part of Star Trek. So there we go. Well, there you go, everyone. My wonderful first officer, the greatest first officer in the fleet. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be in this room with one of my favorite people in the world, my captain. Of course, I absolutely adore you, and all of our friends in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, crew.
We're about to say our hellos, though.
Let's do it.
Let's see here. Who we have with us this evening? Before we get to our reviews, we always like to do the hellos. And first, a big shout out to anyone who happens to be out there lurking or watching this on a rerun or a rewatch, or however you want to call it. We do appreciate you so much for that. And so let's see. Where are we at? Yep. And hopefully, I think our old buddy Eric. Yeah. So, all right. Tonight, with us, of course, as always, is the great Mark D with the CR Chief Engineer.
Good evening, Mark.
Also, the great, and we have two of our great wrenches are here with us tonight. So at least two of them are so far. We have the great Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North, and the great D. Bud Martin's here.
Yay!
Hey, buddy, the man of iron, the wrench of iron. Good to see you.
Love
both.
You guys. Thank you.
Great to see you both here with us tonight. Let's see whom else we have here. Up in here. Let's see who else is up in here. Let's see, the great J-Man. I think he said he had to run. J-Man's going to a con tomorrow. He's going to be buying him some comics and stuff. I know it. So, J-Man, buddy, thank you.
I wonder if he'll GoPro.
He won't. He's too busy buying comics. He doesn't mess around. He just goes and they don't have all the kind of. It's not as big as the New York Comic Con thing anyway. He's going there to buy some comics. That's what he said. He's a busy man, a serious man too.
Serious.
Let's see here. Also with us, Brian Hepburn. Good to see you,
Brian.
The great Dad Man Walk. Hey, buddy. Good to see you there.
Dad Man in the Dad Man clan.
Dad Man and the Dad Man clan. Looks like one of my picks might not go well, even though my team would win and usurp my pick. We'll see, buddy.
Fair warning, folks. Fair warning, folks. You can blame Dad Man Walking for getting Clobby back into sportsing.
Well, again, I wasn't going to go there, just that one thing, but no, somebody had to make a big deal about it. Now we're going to just drag it out longer than it should be. I hope you're proud of yourself, number one. Sorry. Cal-El, buddy, good to see you, my friend.
The real soup.
Look at old Miles. You're not going to bait me there, buddy. Let's see. They call him Scuba Peach. He's the king of Peach. Good to see you there, bud.
And their whole cute family.
Yes,
I love them.
Leslie. What? They were up by 2 touchdowns, dude. Don't tell me they lost. Anyway, the great Hungry Boy is here, or actually, as he is known right now, hungry for a naughty Cardassian cheesecake calendar. Well, let's hope one happens one day.
Nice.
Actually,
Leslie says hello back, boss.
Hello back to Leslie. Hey there. Actually, I got to tell you, Hungry Boy, I don't know. Cardassians, I don't think I want to see a Cardassian cheesecake personally. That might be your bag, and that's fine, buddy. No judgment here. Bajoran, maybe, but Cardassians?
No.
I'm not into that. I'm afraid. But if you are, hey, bro.
Purple vomit stuff. It looks terrible.
They just, I'm not,
And Kanar? Come on.
Yeah.
It's black. It looks like poop.
I guess I'm a bigot. So I'm a bigot. But, that's maybe not my bag, but hey, if it's yours. And that's, of course, quoting a line from the film Alien Nation, where the alien woman's hitting on James Caan, and he's not into her because he's kind of he doesn't like the. And he says to her, "I'm a bigot," and he walks away.
Oh.
Pleasant Valley Picker, hey there.
PC.
The great enigmatic one himself, as in the Drop Bear. What's up, buddy? ED?
Erudite Bear. I'm looking forward to the reviews.
Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. Good to see you. Let's see here. Michael Beacom, hello to you and the wonderful Cassandra. I hope you are both doing well
Yeah.
tonight.
Nice to see you, Beacons. It's a wonderful pleasure to have you here tonight, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Indeediousness. Well, yeah, I saw the Tennessee one, but LSU's about to blow it. I mean, I'm about to win and then ruin my pick. Sorry, Dad, man. I thought you know what I was talking about there.
I told you. I told you. I would just like to say I told you so.
Well, why would you? What was that? You can't even mention something about sports ball. That's all right. For now on, no more Star Trek. We're gonna just do college football on Saturday nights. Thanks to Raquel, but she's got to be in the agony booth listening to it. Just kidding. All right. You're not an Amanda Bear. Hey. The comic relief crusader. Hey.
Hail.
Das Wolfenjahr.
Das Wolfen.
Where we at? Matt G. Hello, Matt G.
Matt J.
Good to see you. Wolfie. And Wolfie, we will definitely indeed. Wolfie, we will definitely show those pictures after we do our reviews tonight that you sent. Wolfie's got something for us. Dave G. Sound.
Yeah, Dave G. Sound is here, but I don't know if he's going to be participating or not. He's not feeling well.
Oh, no.
And that's pretty upsetting because he's a healthy guy. He's not like one of those guys who gets on all the streams and says, "Oh, I don't feel well." He's seriously ill. He has like a fever and stuff, and I think there's something wrong with his back. So everyone, I need you to send some love to Dave G. Sound without prying and asking him more about what's going on. Just what he shared in the chat. So he's not feeling well in a serious way. So if you guys can send good vibes,
yes,
prayers, whatever it is you do to send your love and support to somebody, please do that for Dave G. Sound, please.
Please, yes. Sorry about that, Dave G. I hope you feel better, buddy.
Yeah, honey, I'm thinking of you, darling.
Good luck, sir. Absolutely. Tyrell, 72, our good friend.
Yay, Tyrell!
Who lurks and works. We appreciate you.
He lurks, he works, and he loves us, and we love him. Have a great night at work, sweetheart. Don't work too hard, and work safe, and we'll see you at the end of the show. Mwah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And look who's here with us this week. The great Max Redstone is here.
Maximum Redstone.
Just for you, buddy.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles. Oh, Miles. Oh, Miles.
He asked for it.
Mark D with a C.
It is Mark D with the C's fault that I play it, though. Because
Mark. So, hey, everyone in the chat, can you send Mark D with a C some shin kicks? I don't mind if you rover him. You could ask him for his agonizer. You could put him in the agony booth. You could send him through the rite of ascension. Anything your heart desires.
well, yeah, because it is his fault. I mean, I'm the one that played it, but let's see here. Where are we at? Oh, but by the way, it's also Max's fault for asking for it. Just so you can send him some too. By the way, Zathras, what's up, dude?
Crap.
Indeed, sir. Zathras, Anonymous, hello there.
Anonymous.
Hey, the great JT Kirk is here.
JT Kirk.
Indeed. And Mrs. Dadman stopped in and said hello. Hello there, Mrs.
Gorgeous.
Dadman. Good to see you. JD Lewis.
Evening, JD.
Good to see you there. Where are we at? Oh, Midnight's Oblivion. Hello there.
Hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us.
That's it for now. Anyone else who pops in will be acknowledged in due course. But now we will get on down to beeswax, since that's what we do here.
Let's get
eventually.
on.
We have 4 reviews for you this evening.
We do.
We're starting season 3. Hoorah! Yeah.
Hoorah!
Yep, season 3 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. What we do here, my friends, Mr. Angel. Oh my goodness,
Mr. Angel, chef, our chef from Down Under.
All right. Good to see you, Mr. Angel. Glad you're here, buddy. I hope you're doing well over there. Okay. For those who do not know, we'll simply set it up. Of course, since the January of 2021, we undertook a daring mission to review all of real Star Trek, every bit of it, all 735 segments, as calculated by my wonderful first officer. That's how many from the 1966 to 2005 legit only Trek, the real Trek only, to review every one of them. And we've started out with the original series, moved to the animated series, the original crew films, TNG, and now we are just about to start Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 3 tonight with 4 more episodes. So, what we do is, this is not our reference tonight, I don't think, but this is a book that is worth showing that number one does like to use and has used for reference in the past. So I will now turn it over to my wonderful, the greatest first officer ever, Commander Briggs, and she will explain from here, and then we will start reviewing the episodes.
Well, thank you so much, Captain. Yeah, if you're just joining us on a podcast, so you're not seeing any visuals and you're not participating in the chat and you're just listening in like an old-time radio hour, there is a visual of the front of a cover of a book currently on the screen that the boss put up. And it's of the book Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman, and he gets some help from his wife, Paula M. Block. Now, there's a lot of factoids surrounding Star Trek. And it's because, there's a lot of recycled content. People say stuff at conventions. There are lots of different perspectives, lots of people adding what they think and they feel. And then there are lots of people out on the internet who are sharing all of these ideas. And unfortunately, that has led to a lot of stuff that's not true about Star Trek being, spread around as though it is. And so I really like this person who I've vetted, Paula M. Block. She is quite brilliant. She writes wonderful books. I recommend her books for the TOS and TNG. The reason being is she quotes original source material. So she goes to the people who have worked on these shows and she talks to them and she gets direct quotes. And this is how she builds her books. And the thing is she is very concise. And so her books are sexy. You get a little bit of synopsis, you get a whole bunch of production behind the scenes, confirmation or revealing of something you've never thought or heard before. And so we've been using them on the show. But when we get to Deep Space Nine, Paula has not written a book where she's riding first chair. Riding first chair on this one is her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And so the reason why we take all this time to explain this is there are so many people who come to me and say, okay, there are all these factoids about Star Trek. We know what you recommend for TNG or TOS, TNG, and for TAS. What do you recommend for DS9? This is the one that I recommend. It is extremely expensive, but Terry J. Erdman is very long-winded, so we can't use it on the show. However, I need to let you know that if you were searching for a companion for DS9 and you want the real skinny, the real information without all the crap from IMDb or all the BS on Memory Alpha, and that's all user-generated crap, this is the book that you should turn to. However, like the boss said, we're not going to use it because Terry, he goes on for like 17 pages for a summary, just the summary alone. So we're going to be using Wikipedia. It's nice, it's short, it's sassy, it's sweet, and then we get right to it. And then as soon as we're done doing that, as soon as we're done talking about the summary, I throw it over to the boss. The boss and I have both been fans of Star Trek for over 45 years, and we love Star Trek. So we talk about it. We massage our ideas. We talk about what we think about the episode, and then we do something that, we were among the first channels on YouTube to do, and that is we throw it to the chat. The chat, they're our friends. And so we take their ideas and their ratings and their conversations, and we throw them up on the marquee, and we talk about it. And that's how we review Deep Space Nine. And that's where we're at right now. And tonight, we're digging into Season 3, and we're on Episode 1. So if you're new around here, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Absolutely. So now we will start with our first episode of the evening, folks. So that is the Search Part 1.
Yeah. Search, the search. Yes, I do have a little bit of a cold midnight's oblivion. I love you. The search,
my.
season 3, episode 1. This is prod code 447. Now I say prod code 447 because this is an international show and the numbers may be off. Do not be alarmed if the numbers are off. That's just the way that they bust up the episodes. And tonight, this is a good example of why. Oh, hi, Fabi Oak.
Hey,
Fabi Oak 100
Fabi
as well.
100. Hey there. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So this is a good example of why those numbers get screwed up and why the different streaming services internationally mess up those numbers. Tonight, we're starting on the second part of a 3-parter. Okay. And so this is the second part of a 3-parter. And this episode aired for the very first time on September 26, 1994. So, like I said, let's stay copyright compliant. I'm going to be reading from the plot as assembled by the user-generated data provided on wikipedia.org. Part 1. Let's do it! The previous episode marked the first occasion that anyone from the Alpha Quadrant had met the Jem'Hadar and lived to tell the tale, as the Dominion made a very blunt demonstration of both their abilities and their intentions, chiefly by destroying a Galaxy-class starship making its way out of the Gamma Quadrant. This episode starts with Major Kira leading a discussion in Ops about how best to prepare should the Dominion launch an attack through the wormhole. While the team comes to the depressing conclusion that Deep Space Nine could only hope to resist being taken over for, at best, 2 hours, an unusual starship decloaks 300 meters from the docking ring. Commander Sisko has returned from Earth in a newly commissioned USS Defiant. The commander tells the crew all about the new ship in the conference room, an overpowered prototype originally designed to combat the Borg. The Defiant has been brought out of the warehouse and fitted with a Romulan cloaking device. Sisko introduces 2 new officers, a Romulan subcommander there to supervise the proper use of the cloaking device, and Lieutenant Commander Michael Eddington from Starfleet Security. Odo is immediately suspicious of this high-ranking security officer. As the briefing concludes, he confronts Sisko and after an antagonistic conversation, promises Sisko his resignation as head of security within the hour. Wow, that's some difficult writing, isn't it? As head of security within the hour. All right, user-generated people. The entire command crew, including Dr. Bashir, Chief O'Brien, and Lieutenant Dax, as well as Odo and Quark, but curiously not Lieutenant Commander Eddington, set out in the Defiant the next morning on a mission to find the Founders, leading leaders of the Dominion to establish peaceful terms for the Federation's exploration of the Gamma Quadrant. During this mission, Odo develops an apparently inexplicable fascination with the Omarian Nebula. The crew are at first successful with the new cloaking device in evading Dominion patrols, although Jem'Hadar vessels seem capable of detecting something while the Defiant travels at warp speed. The investigations of the crew lead them to an isolated and apparently undefended communication relay. Chief O'Brien and Lieutenant Dax are sent on an away mission to learn what they can from the relay's memory banks. As they transmit coordinates of where the relay station sends on 80% of its communications traffic, the pair are assaulted and communications jammed. With 3 Jem'Hadar ships on a course to intercept, Commander Sisko makes the hard decision to keep the Defiant cloaked and leave his 2 officers to their fate. While the crew adjust to this loss and Odo's obsession with the Omarian Nebula deepens, a Jem'Hadar patrol manages to detect the Defiant through the cloak and launch an attack. The crew managed to destroy one of the Dominion vessels before the main power is forced offline and the Defiant loses shields. Dozens of Jem'Hadar troops then board the ship. In ensuing combat, the Romulan sub-commander is knocked unconscious and Major Kira apparently shot by the Jem'Hadar beam weapon. Odo rescues Kira, escaping in a small shuttlecraft. Odo informs Kira that they are currently en route to the Omarian Nebula. She is dismayed, reminding him she did not consent to being placed in her current situation and arguing that they should have headed straight back to the Alpha Quadrant. Using the vessel's sensors, Kira detects an M-class rogue planet inside the Amarian Nebula. Odo resolves to land on the planet. There, Odo and Kira encounter an apparent lake of shapeshifters as a group of them solidify and welcome Odo home. And that is all the collected Trekkies have to say on Wikipedia about the plot of The Search, Part 1. Boss, I'm going to throw it over to you. What'd you think of this episode?
Hello there, Keely Child. Roll. Sorry about today, buddy, but roll.
Yay!
Sorry about today, but keep rolling your time, man. So good to see you. Appreciate you being here. I thought it was a pretty good setup for the story. There was obviously a two-parter, so most of it is set up. So it was good to see. It was, it's always, look, I like the Defiance, so that was kind of a nice introduction to that. Mainly this episode, mainly to me is, I don't like to use the words filler or anything. It's more like setup for, the grander scheme of the episode. So this is incomplete since we're doing them separately. But I thought it was pretty good. It's got some good character stuff. And that's one of the things about Deep Space Nine. A lot of times it is about character and intrigue and they're building up the war, doing all their Dominion type stuff. So I thought it was a pretty solid setup for what was to come. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It's not nothing complete about it. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I by and large agree. And the boss says notes. What he's asking me for are my notes that I write while I'm watching the episodes. Yes, I take an actual piece of paper and a pencil and I write notes. And so here are my notes for part 1 of The Search. Well, it's actually part 2 because this is a 3-parter. But anyway, Jadzia's hair is beautiful in this episode. She looks very sexy with her hair up like that. It reminds me of TOS. She's enchanting, just beguiling. What a gorgeous woman she is. Her hair it's on point. I love it. I mean, I don't want it to stay like that, but an homage to TOS, I loved it. The Defiant. Gene specifically rejected the idea of the good guys using cloaking. He considered it dirty pool. To Rule is Seska, which is, of course, played by Martha Hackett. Eddington, and I wrote in big yelling all caps, yuck! And then I wrote great father and son conversations in this episode. I also want everyone to note that the new comm badges are here. So the Delta now has a bar. I absolutely love Kira in this episode. I think she Nana Visitor gives a very strong performance. The Jem'Hadar are programmed to worship the founders as gods. And they're also programmed to never harm or disobey a founder. And so I think that there are some extreme editing issues here that should have been addressed. So, you have to be careful with continuity when you're an author and when you're an editor and when you're a director. Kira says that the planet is starless and is rogue. And in the very next scene, we see a planet with a star illuminating it. So I thought that was weird. Why say it's a starless and rogue planet and then show us a star that's illuminating the planet? Just say it's like a rogue planet. And it has a single star or something like that. I just think it's weird that she says that. It's not necessary. And all the founders look like Dr. Mora. Why? So you guys already know, because I've talked about this over the stretch of several episodes over the last 2 seasons, that they decided to make Odo look like Dr. Mora. And so I think it's lazy writing. I think it's lazy editing. And I think it's lazy directing to make all of the founders look like Dr. Mora. The founders have never met Dr. Mora. And so they could have addressed this with one sentence. But because they're lazy, they didn't do their due diligence. And so we could have had something akin to the founders saying, Odo, we don't like to solidify, and so we are appearing to you as close to our shape that appeases us, but we also want to look like you. And this then would make sense. And on a go forward basis, you wouldn't say, oh, okay, this is lazy writing, this is lazy editing, this is lazy directing. And it is. They should not look like Dr. Mora. They've never met Dr. Mora. And that's all I wrote in my notes, boss.
I never even considered that they did. I don't know, but I mean, that never even occurred to me that they look like him. But yeah, so and there's the thing, like Odo has mentioned that he's not good at faces, and so it's why he ended up the way he looks. And I always just sort of assumed that he's ending up the way he looks because that's just the way he's kind of supposed to look when they take that form, and that's why I thought the others of his kind looked like Odo, but he didn't realize he was supposed to look like that when he takes that form. But that was just me. I didn't think about the Dr. Mora thing. So
yeah, there's full dialogue in a full episode where we talk about the fact that
yes,
in him practicing solidifying that he wanted to look like Dr. Mora, and so he was practicing hair and just stuck with Dr. Mora's hair, and this is how he developed how he wanted to solidify. And so, as an author and also as somebody who teaches writing and as a professional editor, I just think it's sloppy.
Sure. Explain things absolutely.
It leaves fans sort of groping around in an ugly way, going, but what about, but it could have been. And it doesn't have to be like that. It just could have been the founders stepping forward and saying, Odo, we don't like the solids, but we are assuming an appearance that is much like yours so that you can feel comfortable.
That would have been, that
done. And then there's then all of this foolishness and arguing and fighting and all this dumbness goes away. And it all starts with saying to yourself, do I care about my audience? Do I care to make sure that I'm not writing lazy, that I'm not editing lazy, that I'm not directing lazy? And so there is a whole production of people who make this show, and someone should have caught it. And usually that falls to Jerry Taylor when you're talking TNG, right? Before it fell to Gene Roddenberry, and he caught all that stuff. Jerry Taylor caught almost nothing. And here we have Ira Stephen Bear, I believe, who it falls to in this series.
Yes.
And, not good.
Sure.
Anyway.
Gotcha. So overall, I think this is a solid, good start to this two-parter. I know you think it's, in a sense, you're calling it a three-parter because of the continuing from that Jemadar episode, and so. But as far as the Search Part 1 and the Search Part 2 goes, I thought this was a pretty good setup for its previous episode. So, what would be your? Even though I know it's incomplete, what is your rating for this Part 1?
It's a B-.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. Mine was a B. I just went with a solid B. Okay. And so now, everyone, what we will do, as we always do, we ask you, my good friends, pleasant. Your review should be whatever you want it to be. Don't ask us.
Don't revise your review. Stay with your review.
He's just kidding, I guess. But I mean, I don't think we were mean to the episode at all.
Boss, before we do that, just wait 1 second. I'm sorry. I just want to stick a pin in it. Just a pause, please. And just wait, guys, before you start sending in all of those reviews, because I'm in charge of logging them.
Okay.
Nirot says, but then how would the other Dominion species recognize the founders so easily? Well, you know what? That's a very good question. We could also solve that with just 1 or 2 sentences, but I don't want to spoil what's coming and what my thoughts are on the next episode. Yeah. So can you stick a pin in that, Nirot? Because that is excellent. That is an excellent thing that the writer's room should have been discussing. And if you and I were writing this series together, I definitely would have fielded that and said, yes, that's another hole. Let's fill it. So excellent comment, Nirot. Thank you, and I will address that as soon as possible.
Yes, so start on with your reviews, my friends. And tonight we have the return of the Max Redstone show.
Oh, and everyone, go ahead, keep putting up your reviews.
Oh yeah, good. And because our good buddy Max Redstone is here, and he has given us some lyrics or some limericks, sorry, for each episode tonight. So here we go, folks. Some Max Redstone entertainment. The Search, Part 1, by the great Max Redstone. Here we go.
Maximum Redstone.
Maximum Redstone, indeed. Defending DS9, a question that may befuddle. Then the Defiant enters the huddle. Dax and O'Brien get ditched. A space battle is pitched. And Odo drags Kira into a shuttle. I'll do that one again since I was a little thrown off there. I'm not good at this sort of thing, as you've all can understand. Oops, sorry. All right, here we go. Defending DS9, a question that may befuddle. Then the Defiant enters the huddle. Dax and O'Brien get ditched. A space battle is pitched. And Odo drags Kira into a shuttle. That is a yes, indeed. Thank you so much to the great Max Redstone.
Boss man, just before you get underway, I know you have a lot of things that you're juggling and you're all over social media. So I just want you to know that our great friend, Dee Myers, the Catman, Dee Myers, and his wife are in the chat. So everyone say hello to Dee Myers and his wonderful wife.
Welcome. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I see him. Gotcha. Okie dokie. So let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I guess we got a bunch of them started now, so we get a move on here. Let's get a move on here. Hungry Boy says, hungry for a naughty Kardashian cheesecake calendar says, B. You naughty.
I love him. I love him.
You hungry boy, you rascal.
I love him.
Says B. The Defiant arrives. Kira's look of, oh yeah, baby, gimme them guns is priceless. He says, cutie patootie, Romulan babe. Yeah, of course. One extra Horta point. Too bad she wore my Nana's quilt. Well, don't all Romulans though? Yeah. But Quark rocked the 2371 80s Soul Train Pip Daddy fashion. Yeah, there was some good Quark moments in there and a lot of good Odo stuff. This was primarily a character episode, which are always interesting and always very entertaining. Kira again brightens the show brightens the show against the Jemadar Nothing Burgers. Against the Jemadar Nothing Burgers. Odo has set his phasers to pissy.
Delightful.
And yeah, I take it, number one, you don't like Eddington.
Yeah, I don't like Eddington. He gives me the creepy creepers, and I think he gives a lot of Trekkies the creepy creepers. But don't forget that Hungry Boy pronounces the Jem'Hadar, the Gem, I'm
sorry. No, I'm sorry I messed it up, dude. I'm sorry I messed it up, Hungry Boy. You know me, I can't read. Midnight's Oblivion said, I'd also say a B. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Mr. Angel says A. Gives it an A. The storyline of the Dominion War heating up. And behold, the Defiant rises. Dominion, we have huge battleship Cisco. That's cute. Eat my phaser banks. Love the cloak controversy. Yeah, and there's the thing, you know how much I love Roddenberry? That's something I don't agree with. I think cloaking device in the right hands is a good, when everyone else has one, I'm sorry. He says the good guys won't use a cloak. I'm sorry. The good guys can get their ass blasted by people with cloaks. I don't agree with him. You have to, and he didn't have that kind of philosophy. And if you watch any of his Have Gun Will Travel episodes or even the original Trek, he believed in, fighting back and stuff, but that's fine. It's fine. Just, I'm no Gene Roddenberry. I would never compare him. I'm not in this league and never will be.
He just wanted it front facing. He wanted guys to be like gunslingers. He wanted them to be super manly men that would just go in there and get to the business of fighting and facing their enemy. He had very old school gentlemanly values.
Yeah, I don't think it makes you not a gentleman to have a cloaking device. You could use that in benign ways. You don't have to use it to sneak up on people.
I'm not Gene Roddenberry. I'm just telling you.
I know.
And also, Katie's here.
Katie Dax is here.
Katie, Katie, Katie.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying if I just, just to refer to answer those charges, I'm simply saying that you can use it in a way that isn't underhanded. I mean, there's certain safety.
This is true. This is true.
And in a war, of course, he wasn't. Of course, Roddenberry didn't want Star Trek to be about a war, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on that. Even though I like Deep Space Nine, I do agree with Gene 100% that Star Trek, you can deal with war on other planets, but about the series being about war, I'm not. I don't agree with him.
100%, because he wanted this. He wanted Star Trek to be the military post us working out all of our stuff as human beings,
Right.
And then moving out into the galaxy to edify ourselves, to push ourselves even further. So that's where we're supposed to be encountering the dastardly villains, the dastardly demons that we chased away from our planet through diligence and edification and all of these grand ideas, and that makes Star Trek this hopeful beacon. It's supposed to be, a hopeful beacon.
I'm just thinking, not only that though, you could have the show should be about, at least for me, I think he also probably wanted it to be just about individual episodes where they're out there having individual stories exploring space. Yes, once in a while, like a Taste of Armageddon or Private Little War, you can talk about war. A Balance of Terror, you could even mention that yes, humans were at war with others at another time, but these guys made the series. And I love Deep Space Nine, folks. We're here talking about it. I love it, but they made it about war.
They did.
Whereas they made the series about rather than just an episode here and there talking about war.
And that has consequences. And so you see people arguing and fighting on social media and like tearing one another apart and being very vitriolic and just caustic and just horrible to one another. And yet it what it does is it shifts the genre. So we go from science fiction, and in Gene's original TOS Bible, pure science fiction was the ideal. And so we shift from pure science fiction being the ideal and trying to centrifugally stick to that into it being about sociology and about it being about politics and about it being about people and drama. And in so doing, you change the genre. And so changing the genre of a story really freaks people out. And people are like, what? So when someone changes the genre of something you love, you're allowed to be upset about it. And no amount of internet bullying or Twitter bullying should make you change your mind. If you like science fiction, you're allowed to like science fiction. It doesn't also have to be superhero or romantic comedy or drama or sociological study on people's behavior. It doesn't have to be social science. So yeah, anyway, off my soapbox.
Pleasant Valley Picker says, he says, hey, The Defiant arrives, a great Odo episode. I liked the interaction of the cast. They were getting it figured out at this point. Yeah. Let's see here. I know he's got more. Let me get to it. There we go. Quark hitting his head on the bunk was funny. Odo was very grouchy before going liquid. Fun. Miles and Dax being left behind was good suspense. And hang on, buddy. I'm getting your other one. Odo reminded me of a salmon. Oh, I mean, I think it probably means a salmon, right? Mm-hmm. Wanting to return home. Rene Auberginois smile, and the final moments are Emmy worthy. Such a great actor. I wanted to hug him all. Well, I see what you're saying. I see why you say that, because he's a great actor, and I'm right there with you, Pleasant Valley.
If only you could see him making fun of how long we're talking.
Well, that's just that. Look, Pleasant's just going to be that way. He's going to be unpleasant sometimes. What can we tell you?
So he's not Pleasant Valley Picker.
He's unpleasant Valley Picker.
Quasi Pleasant Valley Picker.
He's occasionally Pleasant Valley Picker.
Occasionally Pleasant Valley Picker.
I mean, when he feels like a selectively Pleasant Valley Picker. We see what you're saying.
Yes.
Wolfie, we're just messing with you, Pleasant. You'll be all right.
For the record, Pleasant Valley Picker, Now everyone in the chat is discussing how they feel about being picked on in social media and how they feel about the genre shift. And that's what we're here to do, to discuss how Trekkies feel about Star Trek. So,
And ironically, we just picked on you. So there you
yes, exactly.
go. Kind of worked out, didn't it? Wolfie says, rating A-. Looks like DS9 got an overhaul. New uniforms, new communicators, and a starship. The continuation of the Ferengi trading with the Dominion story is some nice continuity. Indeed. Defiant. Originally, she was going to be named the Valiant. I like the idea that the cloaking device is Romulan and even has to be operated by one of their officers. Remember when Commander Shelby said Starfleet should have the fleet back up in a year? Why not have Cisco be one of the officers working on building new ships? Good continuity. Works for me, sir. Hang on. Oh, there you go. Got you now. Sorry. Remember Commander Shelby telling Data to quickly change frequency so the Borg would not have time to adapt to the phaser modulation? Welcome to the pulse phaser cannon. Yup. The Defiant seems to have some throwbacks. Early Starfleet to have some throwbacks. I mean, it probably means too early Starfleet ships. Notably, Registry and Delta logos are similar to the original series. This is the first NX ship we have seen since Excelsior. Well done as always. Great info from the great Starship Master himself, Wolfie. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolfie.
Always appreciate that, buddy. The great Vindicator Persia himself. Vindicator Persia says, Raquel, they should have been on top of this since the season 2 finale when the Jem'Hadar and the female Vorta first saw Odo.
And Chris and I both mentioned that during that episode, everyone, and thanks for that, Chris, because it was so funny because we were both saying, hey, this is going to happen, but we couldn't spoil it. Everyone, please welcome Mark Lerseth to the chat. Mark, it is so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mark.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, Captain. Please continue.
No, it's okay. Good to see you, Mark. Welcome. Thank you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Where was we? JD Lewis says, slightly exposition heavy and somewhat plotting at times, but still a good episode with some solid world building. Both Odo and Kira shown in this episode. Warts and all, B-. Thank you so much, JD. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you there, buddy. Kal-El, the super one, a good friend, says A strong season premiere which formally introduces one of my favorite starships in all of Trek, the USS Defiant, as well as expands upon one of the greatest enemies of the Federation. Yes, sir. Odo's inexplicable draw to the Amarian Nebula, as well as the mystery of the founders and the true nature of the Dominion, were all intriguing elements of what ended up being a fantastic first part of a 2-part story. Thank you so much, Kal-El. The Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Meyer, says, Clobby, I give this episode a solid C. My favorite part was seeing the Defiant. Thank you, Catman. Hope you and your wife are doing well, my friend. Max Redstone says B-. Damn, Eddington is creepy. And why do the other founders have to emulate Odo?
Yes.
Can it be like the lobby to Fortnite multiplayer? I mean, these people are the ultimate power in the Gamma Quadrant. You got me, partner.
Put a pin in that. Because Nirot wants to talk about that, and I feel that after we reveal what we think about part 2, we should discuss that. Matt, Nirot, Clobby, we should talk about that, because this is a big thing with DS9 that people talk about. So let's do that, and I know Nirot wants to talk about that. So put a pin in that. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that later, Max.
Oh, we have another Mr. Angel. I thought that was his only one. He didn't say, no, I don't remember the first one saying 2. Anyway, the cloak controversy is my favorite part even. This is not Pistols at Dawn, not a duel. Thus, This is war with a ruthless enemy. Fighting fair is for romantics. About time the Federation becomes realistic. Gotcha.
Good evening, anti-derivative Jill. Jill
Jill's
just walked through the door.
Hey, Jill, we're on our first one of the night. If you got to get a review in there.
Hey, sweetheart. I just tagged them.
Okay, good. Classic Comics says B-, a solid episode, but I've never bought the idea that the Romulans would agree to having one of their cloaking devices installed on a Starfleet ship. It's the biggest tactical advantage. Why share? I guess the only way I could even answer that, Classic Comics, is that they do believe that the Federation is honorable, and they probably find that honorable nature to be gullible, but they've seen them to be honorable, so I could kind of see it. But I hear you.
I agree with him. I think that an entire episode should have been dedicated to explaining how and why that's happening, because there are a lot of misgivings in that relationship. And Boss, before you move on to anyone else, would you do me the honor of reading Anti-Derivative Jill's comments tonight, her reviews, because they are piggybacking on a very generous gift that this sweet and wonderful person who loves you very much has put up for you. So if you could go to the starred area and read Jill's stuff and just, thanks, Jill.
Will do. Thank you, Jill. You're too kind. You're very sweet. I really appreciate that. She says, I didn't, for $10 super chat, you're way too generous, my dear. She says, I didn't have a chance to rewatch the episodes tonight, but I'll share what I remember because I love this series. And Clobby, Raquel, Mark, and the whole crew, thank you so much.
We love you.
For these
And
nights.
I hope you had fun with your family. And you were missed. You're always missed. But I also like that you like to get out and have fun, sweetheart.
Thank you so much, Jill. You're too kind. Jill says a B+. DS9 gets its tough little ship. My two favorite. You know what, Jill? This goes out to you since you said that and you were so nice to be here.
Yeah.
Why not give Jill the honor of the debut of what she just said? She said those words. So this goes out dedicated to Jill.
The Defiant. Adrift but salvageable.
Tough little ship.
Little.
There you go. Tough little. Let's see. Tough little ship. My second favorite. Federation and Ferengi diplomacy with the Dominion is attempted, and because of Odo's demotion, Kira recruits him for this, showing her friendship, indeedishness. We learned that Odo, as a changeling, has a physiological homing capability like a salmon, right? And as I pronounced it wrong, sorry. And he's changed forever, having connected with the great Link. Thank you so much, Jill.
Those are some beautiful comments. And yes, many people compare it to the running of salmon. They think that's where the idea came from. And also, can I just say, everyone, let's take a pause for 1 second. Mr. Angel has said, look, folks, my apologies. He's excusing himself for the evening because he's just too tired. It's super late down under, and he wants us to know that he has to say goodnight. But he said he's going to rewatch the stream later, and he wants to tell you all to have a great Sunday. And he throws up the LLP and a little smiley face with sunglasses. Good night, Chef. We all love you, and you have a great Sunday as well, sir.
Yes, good night, Chef. Have a good one, my friend. You take care. Let's see. Where were I? Naradanaxamandabear says, B. I like this one, and it left quite an impression on me back then. The rogue planet, a shape-shifting sea, plus the first time we see a military-type ship made by the Federation. Also, Odo being Odo. Yes, it is a good Odo episode, isn't it? Our wonderful friend Katie Dax says, I give it a C+. To me, DS9 really picks up in season 4 through 6. Not a fan of the changelings and the female changelings' obsession with Kira and wanting to take Odo from her. Let's see. It is in the okay rank for me, not a big wow. I got you. I did, however, enjoy Martha future Seska in DS9. Great Trek actor. Thank you. And she did say before when she came in, she said, "Hi, friends. Not going to be around much tonight. In and out. Kind of a rough day and needs some rest. The search is in the okay." Thank you so much.
We love you, honey.
Katie,
Sorry you had a rough day.
Sorry you had a rough day. Get some rest, and I hope you feel better later.
Probably school. It's difficult being in university. It's hard. You got a big schedule and lots of commitments and lots of homework and stuff to do. So I don't want to speculate because, I'm not somebody who likes to pry, but I want you to know that we're here to support you. We are so proud of you. You were a talented ballerina. You got a scholarship. You were on the dean's list. You are loving and caring to everyone around you. You work hard and, you're just wonderful. So keep your chin up. We love you very much. And we're sorry you had a tough day, cutie patootie. Thanks for coming to hang around with us croaking old goats.
Michael Beacom. And I always love to see you here, Katie, by the way. The great Michael Beacom says, C-. Oh, boy, here we go. Space War. B5 has been there, done that. Oh, no. Board tone. Okay, what do we do with... Oh, no. Board tone.
Oh, no.
Jim Hadar. Another all-powerful, unstoppable alien species. Were you not allowed to use the Borg? I'm trying to facilitate Michael's board.
I bet you Michael's laughing right now.
I hope he's okay with my. I'm trying, Michael. Tired of aliens who can beam through shields, see through cloaking, and are smarter than the Federation, except for our heroes. Star Trek was about humans coming into their own competency. Well, there's some trueness there. Scrap the invasion story. Let's just see Odo finding his own people and tell some science fiction. I love the characters. Please don't waste our time with political plotting and space war. I can't say I disagree with you there. I actually do agree with you, even though I think they've done some entertaining things with the space war. I would have preferred them not do that, to be quite honest with you.
Stand up and take a bow.
Take a bow, indeed.
That was chef's kiss. Mwah. Excellent comment.
I had to call him Scuba Pete. Gives a B+.
Pete!
Quite enjoyed this season's kickoff. Loved the Defiant trying to give the raspberries to the Jim Hadar.
Jim
Hadar. And Midnight's Oblivion says season 3 also has a slight change in the theme song too. Sped up.
I liked that.
With some synth chords added. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Isn't Midnight's Oblivion a musician?
I don't know. You'd have to ask.
I'm pretty sure Midnight's Oblivion is a musician. So, yeah, I had to star that. Sorry, I know that's not a review, but that okay. Sounded intriguing.
Well, if you would like to read the great Enigmatic Drop Bears review, I'll watch it.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm on the store. Look, yep, there we go.
Dun 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 dun! Enigmatic drop bear, the erudite bear. 4-parter. He gives this sucker a B. He says the first 3/4 of this episode was full of exposition, seemingly written to introduce a new audience to the show and reset the show's focus from Bajor to the Dominion. Yeah, they give up on Bajor so easy. Until the last quarter, aside from new comm badges, yep, of course, this is, I said that I noticed, at a new space station, a new spaceship replete with Romulan attaché and a new hairstyle for Dax. There wasn't a great deal on offer for existing fans of the show. This is an incredibly brilliant thing to say, and I totally agree. It was actually like this pivot. It was pivoting us instead of helping us to continue to bond with these characters who we were just starting to like. 3 out of 4. That all changed in the last quarter when we were introduced to Odo's progenitors, who all apparently resemble Dr. Mora. Yeah, why? Maybe they all looked like this because they wanted Odo to feel comfortable. Well, exactly. This is what I'm saying. So why not just say that?
Say it. Yeah,
just say it. So then fans don't have this little scab to pick on for the next 100 years.
Right.
I love this, Edie. I love this. Finally, bringing rare antiques into a hostile environment was a very odd thing for Cisco to do. Yeah, and how come it wasn't in like some type of like cube or protective box or something? It is clear it was done to sell the idea that he had accepted his new home, but it's inconceivable. Yeah, because anybody who had an affinity for such a relic and such a valuable relic that would be a part of, that wouldn't be even considered something that somebody would accept for a private collection. It would be a public collection because it's valuable to all of society or all of humanity. Yeah, I totally agree. And you, sir, need to stand up and take a bow because this was such a great review. I love, love, love you. Thank you for the awesome conversation. And boss, I'm going back over to the live tab.
Was he trying to get me to say inconceivable? I don't know.
He probably was. He loves it.
Thanks.
So
Sarah.
do I.
I have no way of seeing when this happens, but the engineer, our great chief engineer, Mark, you will see, whose review I will read in a moment, let me know that Keely Chow at the 1 month, let's see, a 1 month member of the CLOBBERIN made a members chat that says the writing for DS9 far mean like one of those signals that it shows that it's better than the writing for Discovery. That's true. The writing on every bathroom wall in the history of the universe is also better than the writing for STD. But thank you so much, Keely.
Okay, now everyone is freaking out for inconceivable. Can you, Zeki? Zeki, are you there, Zeki?
Inconceivable. In fact, you know,
how are the blood fleas?
Quack, these blood fleas are quite succulent, and they're inconceivable. And it's also
Inconceivable. 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 Inconceivable.
You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I ripped that off from some guy named Mark.
I mean, I think that's nice and everything, but just remember that all of us here, your friends, the people who love you, we prefer you.
I know, but I love that clip. Anyway, I couldn't resist it. But okay, Mark, the great Mark to see our engineer says, B, good setup episode for the Dominion War and a nice intro for a tough little ship. Really? You want a tough little ship, dude? I'll give you a tough little ship. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it. He was trying to bait me into doing it, wasn't he?
He was.
Was he? Well, I'm not biting.
The Defiant. Adrift, but salvageable.
Tough little ship.
Little.
No, okay. Anyway, double ship. Although there was a debate about adding a ship more powerful than a runabout to DS9, it was the right call. Also agree that the Federation would have eventually used a cloaking device. Why just let the Romulans have one? You know, by the way, a cloaking device was instrumental in Star Trek 4, that if they didn't have it, you know, it was very useful to save the Earth. Anyway, welcome home. You can use it for good things. You don't have to just use it for sneaking up on people. Mm-hmm. Welcome home to Odo. I've got to know. Cue the next episode. Yes, sir. Well, we will.
Max Redstone would like Zeki to say Hyperion beetle snuff.
What? I don't even know what Hyperion beetle snuff is, Quack. What is it? And can we make any profit on it?
Sorry.
How about Tullaberry wine?
Tullaberry wine, Clark? I don't know. I don't like that myself.
Sorry. Anyway.
I love Zeki. I'm sending little head pats to little Zeki. I love Zeki.
Are we ready for part 2 now?
Okay, Zeki, go and kick that poopy stew in the trunk. Don't let him come out, okay?
We're ready for part 2. I can see that.
We are.
Part 2. Wait.
Now for part 2, folks. They didn't even let me be in this episode. They just mentioned me by having Cisco with my scepter. And Quark, me giving orders to Quark to go to the Delta Quadrant.
So funny. The Search, Season 3, Episode 2, Prod Code 448. the third of the three-parter. Technically, it's a three-parter. This episode first aired on October 3rd, 1994. And I will be reading, let's stay copyright compliant, I will be reading from Wikipedia's Part 2. Of course, this is user-generated stuff that I have never read before. So if it gets rough, whatever. Odo and Kira have landed on a starless planet. It's not a starless planet. In the Omarian Nebula, which they have discovered is Odo's homeworld. A female shapeshifter encourages him to begin the slow process of learning who he is and discovering the bond they share, known as the Great Link. Odo is pleased to be reunited with his people, but they don't like Kira because she is a solid life form. Meanwhile, forced to abandon the Defiant during the Jemadar attack days before, Sisko and Bashir are traveling alone in a shuttle when O'Brien and Dax, who have met the Founders, rescue them. Upon returning to the space station, Sisko learns that the Federation is negotiating a peace treaty with the Dominion, represented by one of the Founders, a Vorta named Borath. When Sisko finds out that the Romulans have been excluded, look, I'm old. The printing is small. Excluded from the peace talks, he expresses his concern to Admiral Nechayev, but she dismisses his fears. On the other side of the wormhole, Kira is unable to contact Sisko because of interference from a hidden power source, while Odo struggles with his lessons at shapeshifting. Later, the female shapeshifter tells Odo that they came to this isolated planet long ago as a result of persecution at the hands of the Solids, then reveals he was sent as an infant to explore the galaxy, then return home. Because that makes so much sense. They were persecuted, so they isolated, so they sent some babies out without any protection. I'm going to keep reading. While looking for Odo, Kira discovers a locked door, something for which shapeshifters would have no use. This arouses her curiosity. Back on the space station, a Jem'Hadar soldier starts a fight with O'Brien, in part because the newcomers have been given free rein. Sisko then discovers that the Federation has signed the treaty, agreeing to give control of the Bajoran sector, including the station and the wormhole, to the Dominion. Over Sisko's objections, he and his crew will be reassigned. A happy Odo tells Kira that he has decided to remain with his people, but Kira asks him to help her to get the hidden power source before she departs. He is intrigued when Kira reveals it is behind the locked door she has found. Meanwhile, Jemadar soldiers shoot Romulan officer Tyrol in cold blood, then attack and outrage Sisko. Deciding that matters have gotten out of hand, Sisko then bands with Garak, Dax, Bashir, and O'Brien on a suicide mission to steal the runabout, collapse the wormhole, and keep the Dominion on its side for decades. Garak is shot while Sisko and the others escape. Once aboard the runabout, they fire at the wormhole, collapsing it in a blinding explosion. Meanwhile, Odo unlocks the mysterious door where he and Kira find Jemadar soldiers waiting. They are taken to an interrogation room where Sisko and the Defiant crew sit with their eyes closed, devices attached to their heads. Borath is there conducting a virtual reality simulation on the crew to determine how much they will sacrifice to avoid war with the Dominion. The female shapeshifter then arrives, disclosing that her people are the mysterious Founders. Saddened that his own race is responsible for so much death and misery, Odo demands that his friends be released, then chooses to return with them. Surprised that their experiences since the Defiant attack didn't really happen, Sisko and the crew return to the station, knowing the truth about his people. Odo now knows that even though he may feel like an outsider, his place is with his friends. And that is all the internet has to say about The Search, Part 2. Technically, Part 3. What'd you think of the episode, boss?
I found it fairly entertaining, I guess. It was, I thought, something you touched on that always kind of concerned me, about how the Founders or the Changelings sent these babies, I guess, for lack of a better term, or these infants, out of the, that was their way of exploring space, sending beings that had almost no sentience, in the sense that there was no. How are they? How does that exploring? Because they don't know anything. They're not like sending beings, not sending astronauts or doing. They're sending beings that don't even know what they are or anything. I don't know how that's exploring.
It's crappy writing.
It's
Why
really
not say that they were attacked at their previous location, their previous
right?
Great
Find another
Lake,
reason for Find another reason
and
for
that they were that part of the Great Lake was stolen, sucked up, and distributed to
Right.
be, combed over by scientists of an alien race, and that's why they retreated to
Exactly.
that part of the galaxy.
Something-
That's good writing.
Yes, something. In other words, anything is better than we finally get to meet, find out what Odo is, and some of that stuff is fine, but to find out that he ended up in the situation he was in, all the way out there in space, being like obviously taking probably hundreds of years to get where he was, and not knowing what he was until Bajorans find him and starts experimenting on him and everything. How in the hell? It just does not make any sense at all.
And anything that takes you out of the story, or anyone out of the story, can be identified as poor writing. That's what happens, right?
Yes, because again, Wolfie says it's just like throwing your DNA in ooze of several in the ooze of several worlds when life starts. I mean, I don't know what they claimed they were doing it so they could find, so they could see what's out there. That's dumb.
You would not retreat to a
Ridiculous
planet, and a rogue planet that doesn't have a star but does have a star, if you had been hunted to near extinction, and then you take your Great Lake, your Gold Lake,
pieces of it,
and then start sending your babies out. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
It's nonsensical. You needed a better reason for. So I was really disappointed by that aspect of the episode. The virtual stuff, all the stuff on the station. Like I said, after you see it a few times, it doesn't resonate quite the way the first time when you go, oh, that's. I guess that's kind of an interesting twist type of a thing. Like going for almost like a prisoner episode type of a thing. So I find it to be, as a whole, a decent second part to the episode, not being exactly the same thing as the first. Fairly entertaining, but as most of the time with this show, the reason why I like this show is more for its characters. And once in a while, they have really good standalone stories and other things like that. And I do really love the show. But one of my favorite aspects of the show are these characters are so good. So this episode, anytime you have episodes that are pretty entertaining with good character stuff, I like them fairly well, and I'm well disposed towards this one, but not super excited about it. I just, so it's all right. Notes?
Okay, so here are my notes. The Vorta, so much slime. The Vorta are just so slimy. Like, they're just pure evil. This is not Gene Roddenberry's Federation. The viewer knows it. Then we have some changeling sexy times. Then Eddington isn't Gene Roddenberry's Starfleet, and the viewer knows it. Nechayev is scum, also not Gene Roddenberry's vision, and the viewers know it. And I have a point to all of that. Excellent exchange between Garak and Sisko. I love this exchange. I think it's written very well. Killing Garak is a brilliant way to heighten the sense of risk, and also a tiny bit of foreshadowing. It's letting us know this is not real. So, this can't be real. Why would they kill Garak? So this is some good writing here, and it has a brilliant twist. The viewer outrage is extinguished once the viewer realizes that VR is being used as a torture device. I really love this. I think this is a great twist. I think this is really great writing. And for that, I feel as though this third-parter, which they call a second-parter, but it's actually a third-parter, and the text for DS9 would call this a three-parter as well. I think it's great. I think it's the best out of the three. I think it's really really good writing. I
Yeah.
like to see the return to the science fiction, and I like this whole idea of bringing it all together to address it as virtual reality being used as torture. I think that that's such a cool thing. Very high stakes. The viewer feels betrayed. The viewer feels angry and upset. This is not their Star Trek, and then all is well. And we knew it, because why would they kill Garrick? So planning that out as a writer, I think, is very good writing, and I enjoy this episode thoroughly. So
Yes, but
I think it's a great episode, but I have to deduct marks due to the fact that there's a giant hole in this story that they're building, and which is this idea of sending little liquid babies out that aren't even cognizant of what they are.
yeah.
And I think it's preposterous, especially after retreating after some type of quote unquote genocide and going to this dark planet to make a giant gold lake of linky people that look just like Dr. Mora, even though they've never met Dr. Mora.
It's that's bizarre right there. And
It
again,
is.
it's sitting up. Let's just say it's in some ways it's a big collective, but they're breaking off pieces of themselves that have no real sentience yet, or certainly no awareness of anything, that even what they are. I don't know how that's exploring.
It's not.
It's absolutely a ridiculous concept that does not work. But I do think the clever thing about the stuff going back to Garrick is still the killing of Garrick doesn't blow your cover for your, doesn't blow your story, because if they killed Bashir or somebody like that, as a regular, you might start, getting suspicious, like, I don't know,
What's going on here?
But Garrick's not a member of, he was a recurring character, so
Yeah.
they might have, you don't know for 100% that he might not really be dead. So that
That's
was
right.
well done, and it was clever.
Yes.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this is really good. I think they need to, if they want to have all this drama and they want to explore all of these sociological issues, and they want to have drama and this commentary and this political intrigue and this thriller part of it, being able to circle back and have it be grounded in science fiction is actually pretty cool. It's something that I would expect from 1970s fiction. Not 1950s or 60s, because that was more Gene's bag, which is, reaching out and seeing what reaches back. And the human beings are good, and they're trying, and they have the best of intentions. But this kind of idea is more a 1970s science fiction idea. And I really like it. I think it's good. But just the baby thing. And
I don't like that. That's just
and also saying that it's a starless planet. There's a star there.
Odo's great in it, though. This is a great Odo, another great Odo. I mean, look, there are a lot of times when you can really win me over in the lesser episode when Odo gets a lot to do, and now he's really just Rene Auberjonois. I can never be able to say that what a terrific actor he is. It's a great cast. I mean, that's why the show's great. Like I said, we might pick on story elements here and there, maybe say an episode is not so great here and there, or even things we disagree with them doing on principle. But they have a great cast, great chemistry, and and they're just such. Renee is just terrific in the episode.
He is.
What is?
And I love that Hungry Boy called him pissy. He put pissy in quotes, but then right beside it in his parenthetical, delightful. It's just wonderful. And I also failed to mention something. Oh, Cavantino Cavalryman Che is here.
Hey there, Cavantino.
I believe, I could be wrong, you guys, and I'm an academic, so I don't like saying things unless I have the proof in front of me, but I'm pretty sure this is the episode, like this trilogy, is the time when Renee went forward and made changes to his makeup, and this is what, on a go-forward basis, this will be the Odo makeup. I'm pretty sure about that. I would need to check my makeup book on Star Trek, but I don't have that in front of me right now, but I think it is. I think. Yeah. And that's it.
Okay. Well, what is your rating of the search part two, but part two?
For me, this is an A minus. And I would like to say, as an author and as a viewer and as a Trekkie and an editor, I would actually give this an A plus. If we just would have dealt with, there are two huge things here, and that is that the changeling should not look like Dr. Mora. They've never met him. In the previous episodes building up to this, the writers' room should have addressed the fact that the Jemadar don't recognize Odo, and that's not reconciled. The Vorta doesn't recognize Odo. That's not been reconciled. And you don't send your little liquid gold babies out to far-flung places in the galaxy, and perhaps even other galaxies, after you've retreated to a dark planet without a star that has a star, because you are victims of genocide. Those things, they needed to be reconciled, and they haven't.
Well, there you go. I give it a B plus. It could A minus could be just easily as good a rating. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. And now, my friends, I will give the word, even though Max jumped the gun on us, but that's okay. No big deal, Max. I'm teasing. Number one, get ready for the starring, if you will.
I will, boss.
And I will bring us some great Max Redstone entertainment. All right.
Maximum Redstone.
Maximum master of the limerick, folks. Max Redstone was a man. He was a big man. I'm sorry, that's Hungry. Oh, that's Phantom's Out song. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, Max.
I'm sorry that I was tisking. It wasn't you, sweetheart. It's that the chat is doing the jumpy jump thing.
No problem.
I hate it when it does that.
I can't stand when it does that either. The Search Part 2 by the great Max Redstone says, back aboard DS9, a battle is wrought. A battle for peace that seems very fraught. Hurt by stones and by sticks. Thankfully, it's just the Founder's Matrix. I would have hated it if Garrick had actually been shot. Whoa! So good, it deserves repeating. Back aboard DS9, a battle is wrought. A battle for peace that seems very fraught. Hurt by stones and by sticks. Thankfully, it's just the Founder's Matrix. I would have hated it if Garrick had actually been shot. No, thank you so much, Maxer. Stellar work as always, brother. All righty. Let's see here. Cavatinho.
Yeah,
says,
I thought you would like this.
He says, Captain, number one, how many times has the sending a baby into space has been done more better? Well, Superman comes to mind.
Yes, right?
Yep.
And
again,
what a great point that is.
Yeah, and he was a baby that sent him to space, but they knew he'd have superpowers. Jarrell knew where he was sending him, and it some origins even have him educated in the ship on the way. So, yeah, the Kryptonians, Jarrell really knew how to send the baby into space. The Founders, not so much.
Yep. And I think it's very important for people to realize too that, in many ways you're being brainwashed. Everywhere you go on social media, you have people like viciously fighting and attacking one another over these corporations doing these reboots. And all these corporations keep on saying is, we're doing it new. We're going to do it new this time. And the reason why they're doing that is because it doesn't require any work. And so they have these corporate writing teams and these marketing people deciding what you're watching, and these hack script people that are just doing whatever the corporation says. But I want you to know, beyond all of that brainwashing that you're seeing out there, continuity is craft. And you can quote me on that as a scholar. Continuity is craft. You owe that to your reader while you're telling them the story, while you have that intimate connection with them, and you are furnishing their mind. You are writing on their mind's eye. You owe that continuity to them. Without that continuity, you are just a big piece of SHIT, and you're just spouting crap and making people listen to it. And expecting them to like it. Continuity holds the story world together, And real authors who care about their audience and love their audience care about continuity, because continuity is craft. I love you all, and you deserve continuity. You deserve it, especially when there's a whole team of people working on it. So remember that. I love you. Don't worry about the brainwashing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with corporate writing.
Max Redstone says, A-. Oh, little baby Odo. Little baby Odo, separated from the great link, set upon the galaxy like Moses in the sea of reeds in a wicker basket. Sorry. It's just so Monty Python. Oh dear. I mean, they're literally sending Jello cups out into the universe. How easy is it going to be for one of those Jello cups to get squashed or blown up or vaporized? I hate Nachayev.
Yeah. And he raises such a great point. Like, look at these sister species to the founders. And look at what happened to it when it was exposed to too much oxygen on DS9. It died. I don't believe somebody would send out their little liquid babies. I just don't believe that. And it could have all been fixed with one sentence. Just one sentence.
Bad idea. Pleasant Valley Picker says, A, shapeshifters are prejudiced to us solids. So many great moments, but seems it was all a dream in our heroes' minds being scanned.
Yes.
Um,
Quite dark and scary, isn't it? To know that it was all just a big VR brainwashing, and imagine how damaging that would be.
We're all in the Matrix now, too. Well, wait, but that was number one. I don't see number two of Pleasance.
I'm clicking them off. I'm clicking and ticking.
Hang on, maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it.
Look. I've got his 3 of 3.
I got it too. I got it.
You got it? You got it? Good,
chat
good,
on
good.
the StreamYards. Odo figuring out his people were less than perfect and realizing we imperfect solids might be better friends was great. Yeah, it was. And okay, here we go. I had many thoughts on this, but when I figured most of the story was not real, I figured no point writing about it. Still, a very good episode. The final scene gave me tears. Yes, I am an empath. We're going to have to start calling you Jem. Let's see here. Michael Beacom says, C-. Companion page 166. We like to use the first part to set something up and then totally subvert the audience's expectations in part two. What are they, Brian Johnson? I knew you were going to. Ira Bear, 20 plus years before Ryan Ruins Johnson, by the way. Yeah. I doubt he read that book, though. Ruins Johnson can't read. So,
but that's a pretty damning quote that Michael Beacom has just verified through the text. And that means that there's absolutely no excuse for these continuity errors, for these plot holes, for these things that they're doing with these characters, because they knew what was coming. So, Michael Beacom, my hat's off to you, sweetheart.
Hey, Ira, how about meeting my expectations before you try subverting them? Good point. I can't stand that term, subverting expectations. Jerk leads. Much laziness apparent here. They all look like Odo. Why? Because that's what the audience knows shapeshifters look like. Yeah, good pernt. Hang on, I'll get you next one. Also, please at least open a textbook on celestial bodies and mechanics. Sunless rogue planet Bach. I enjoyed the fact that some of it was all a simulation, prisoner-esque, salvageable with rewriting.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael Beacom.
Great review.
Yeah,
God, I love his reviews.
Indeed, Hungry Boy says, B, Frankie Pants directing was sluggish and blander than tepid oatmeal in a gray bowl. The storyline was been there, done that. Ideas rehashed from other shows.
Yeah.
All surprises were telegraphed in a painfully obvious manner, which anyone who'd watched a lousy 7 eps of good show, good sci-fi saw coming a parsec away. But Salomon Jens, who's
Salome Jens
what,
or
oh,
Jens.
Salome?
I think it's Salome Jens.
Salome Jens, okay. Whose first brush with sci-fi was Terra from the year 5000, injects class and elegance to the tale. Too bad she wasn't given better lines. Is it that actress that plays the
Yes, the mother
lead
changeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wolfie says, rating A-. Wow, Odo's folks are kind of scary. This is one hell of a dynamic setup with the founders wanting a foothold in the Alpha Quadrant, but also wanting Odo to return to them. Let's see. Some very memorable moments between Kira and Odo here. Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah. I thought it was interesting going with the Robert Heinlein idea of the arachnids hurling their unborn young into space from Starship Troopers. Yeah, it was kind of that. Yes. I hear that, but those being arachnids, and I just think that even doing that, they kind of knew what they were. I mean, I don't know if they were sentient beings so much as they were just they were insects.
Yeah,
and they were just they knew the instinct of an animal or an insect that as soon as they would grow, wherever they would land, they would just start eating everything.
Yeah, and Odo had to be electrocuted nearly to death before he would even move, because he would basically like inert puddle of gold.
Right.
Like, and that's why he hates Dr. Mora, because Mora nearly electrocuted him to death just to get a reaction out of him, because Mora was convinced
he didn't know what he was
alive.
Yeah, you knew it was something alive. But so it's different. It's similar to that, yet different, I would say. But appreciate you there, Wolfie. Kal-El says, A-. This episode was a worthy follow-up to the first part, which showed how far the Starfleet officers were willing to go to accommodate the Dominion. We also get to see more character development from Odo during the discovery of his his own origins. The reason why the second part doesn't rank quite as high as the first is the ending with it was a simulation trope being, click to the next one, used. It undermined the stakes set up in the story that the episode was seemingly trying to tell. I would have preferred that the situation been real and the crew of DS9 have to deal with the consequences of the episode's events. Well, I hear you there, Cal. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, Wolfie's liking these comments too, because he's making some pretty good comments about Kal-El and what Kal-El's saying, and I agree with Wolfie, because at this point, this is when you start to think to yourself, okay, so these founders must think of their young as extremely expendable. And you lead the audience in this direction. So Kal-El and Wolfie, I love what you're saying. And oh my gosh, Hungry Boy, your comments are so good tonight. And I absolutely love that book. And I absolutely love you. And your wordplay there is just sensational. I adore you. Sorry to interrupt, boss. Please continue.
The Catman, aka DD Minor, says, Clobby, I give this episode an A. I think he means an A. It was a separator. It might be an A-. I don't know. This was my fave. I thought this one was the best out of all three parts.
Yeah, me too.
They should have wrote the episodes more like this. The actors and actresses all did a great job. Thank you so much, Catman. Appreciate it.
That's a great view, Didi. Thank you.
Classic Comics says C. The explanation for Odo's presence in the Alpha Quadrant was always weak sauce, and the plot twist that it's an illusion isn't a surprise. Okay. Also, Eddington is played by Ken Marshall, aka Prince Corwin in Krull.
In Krull, but he has all of his hair. When I saw that, I was like, that's what you look like after all your hair fell out.
I never watched Krull.
Why?
Because I just didn't want to. When it came out, I was anti-Krull for some reason. I don't know. Another reason. Nerat and that's Amanda Bear. B. The founders were an interesting species back then, reproducing more like plants or fungi, sharing a consciousness and instincts. A lot of plot holes. In the end, I found it shallow and pedantic.
Okay.
Understandable. Okay. And they call him Scuba Pete. Says A minus. Kira landed on Marion. Odo learns what the founders had done. But like jumping into the Great Lake gold mess, don't you cry no more. And I didn't want to sing it, but I got close to it, dude. Damn you.
I love Scuba Pete so much.
How about if Zeki sings it? Kira landed on Marion. Odo learns what founders had done. They're like jumping into the Great Lake gold mess. Don't you cry no more. I'm sorry. That's inconceivable.
God.
You're
Oh my God.
Blame Scuba Pete. Give him the shin kicks, everybody.
Thank God. Thank God he didn't sing it in Gorn, or he wouldn't be able to talk for a month.
Sorry. No, I wouldn't. J.D. Lewis with the exposition of part 1 finally over. This episode moves at a good clip. However, this ep is far less meaty, less depth, but better pacing. A trade-off, but still solid B+. Thank you so much, J.D. Lewis.
Thank you, JD. Mwah.
Would you like to read our two friends, Jill and ED? Or
I can go ahead and do that, but if I suck and I read too much, then I'm going to make you read them.
I will. If you got not, if I'll do it if you want me to. I just ask.
Yes, please do, because then you're sharing the reading with me. Not that I don't mind, but let's share the reading. I love you. Go ahead and please read the live chats, and I'll stick to the Wikipedia.
Okay. So you want to do all the rest of the live chats?
Yes, please.
You don't like reading things? Okay. Gotcha.
Well, I like sharing the reading, so I'll just read from the Wikipedia, and I'll read my notes, and then you can read all the live chats. How does that sound?
Works for me. That's our meeting, folks. Before we did a meeting in front of you. And our wonderful communications officer, Jill, says A-. Normally, diplomacy never had a chance, but the founders' way is subterfuge through subjugation. The crew keeps it together as Starfleet capitulates. Sorry. I need to pull wait a minute, 1 second. My eyes are starting to get messed up because I'm doing this so much. So now I got to pull my screen closer. Starfleet capitulates. Luckily, they were in the Matrix. Yes, they were.
That's a great comment.
Upon deciding to return to DS9, Odo has one of the best quotes this season. Odo, being an outsider isn't so bad. It gives one a unique perspective. It is a pity you've forgotten that, says Odo to the founders thing.
I don't mind being an outsider, Jill, and I know as an INTJ, neither do you.
I happen to be one myself. So then we have Enigmatic Drop Bear. ED says B+. It was apparent that something was not quite right when O'Brien and Dax inexplicably reappeared on the scene. Subsequent events only reinforced this conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
The notion that our crew were subjected to an elaborate simulation was an intriguing idea, but their release from incarceration seemed too convenient.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Apparently, the founders were respecting Odo's wishes, but unless they have grander plans, it was a cop-out. It had the hallmarks of a writer that had written themselves into a corner. That's a very good point, as always, ED.
These are fair comments.
I think we're expected to believe the founders are rampant fascists, but their presentation here was one-dimensional and facile. It's a shame because, as a concept, they have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
In the same ways, the founders are a variation of the Borg. Excuse me. Both use force, but whereas the Borg bring order, in quotes, by assimilation, the founders use oppression and enforced compliance.
This is true. Wow, you guys. Jill,
well done as always.
Amazing reviews. You guys, seriously, these are some wonderful, wonderful comments that lead to such great conversations. Thank you, Jill. And thank you, Enigmatic Drop Bear. And everyone, please welcome, guess who's here?
Who?
The beautiful and wonderful Cassandra Beacom has joined the chat. And she
Hello
has a
there.
comment. I'm going to star it so that we can read it. I'm so happy you're here, honey.
Hey, Cassandra. She says, Otto had his pond fire. Otto had his pond fire. The crew just beam away and not. Oh, I think she means Odo had his pond fire, maybe.
Yes.
The crew just beam away and not consider blowing the planet out of the galaxy. Perhaps the episode is Odo is the one dreaming.
Oh.
Cassandra, who knows?
That would have been a cool way to end it
I
as
don't
well, Cassandra. Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait a minute. You got me. Our chief engineer with the final review of the episode, Mark D with a C, says, A, gives it an A. Great sci-fi story, and Odo finally gets the chance to merge. Love the twist at the end, although there were some clues. What was going on was bullshito. We finally get to learn Odo's backstory, but what a cruel origin, being hurled to a planet with no parents or family.
It's true. And I just started a comment that everyone needs to see.
Yes, Muggabee says she is battling with autocorrect, Odo Ponfar. Yeah, I figured it was Ponfar.
Because the stupid algorithms change what we say.
Right.
And so I thought I wanted that up on the marquee because it's so embarrassing and frustrating when the algorithm does that to you.
Yeah, sorry about that, Cassandra. It does that.
We knew what you meant, sweetheart.
Who's ready for our next episode?
Let's do it.
Next one is
The House of Quark.
Yes, The House of Quark is season 3, episode 3. It is prod code 449, and we all watched this for the very first time on October 10th, 1994. And let's stay copyright compliant, shall we? I am not going to be reading from the text because it's way too long-winded. However, it's really hard for the collective internet to screw up the summary. And so I'm going to be reading a user-generated content from wikipedia.org under the heading, The House of Quark. Here's the plot, folks, according to the internet. On a slow day at Quark's bar, Quark is assaulted by Kozak, a drunk and belligerent Klingon. During the scuffle, Kozak accidentally stabs himself and dies. Quark pretends to have slain Kozak in self-defense, attracting more customers to his bar with his newfound notoriety. Soon, a Klingon named Dagor, claiming to be Kozak's brother, accosts Quark in private and intimidates Quark into maintaining his lie, claiming an accidental death would dishonor his family. Kozak's widow, Grilka, visits Quark's bar, extracts the truth from him, and abducts him to the Klingon homeworld of Kronos. Quark learns that Kozak left her no male heir, leaving the house of Kozak leaderless. Had Kozak's death been ruled an accident, Grilka could be granted special dispensation to take over the family, but because of Quark's lies, everyone believes that Kozak died in combat. Dagor is not Kozak's brother. He's Kozak's arch enemy, to whom the House of Kozak is heavily in debt. In desperation, Grilka forcibly marries Quark, making him the new head of the Kozak family, which legally prevents Dagor from seizing her property. After a rocky start, Quark and Grilka develop a respect for one another. Quark inspects the family ledgers and discovers that for several years, Dagor had been using financial scams to weaken the House of Kozak's assets, which is dishonorable conduct for a Klingon. Quark exposes Dagor to the Klingon High Council. Dagor retaliates by exposing Quark's lie regarding the circumstances of Kozak's death and challenges Quark to a duel to the death. Well, that's a lot of exposing, folks. Don't use that word so much when you're working on these user-generated things. He's exposing, they're exposing, we're all exposing. Anyway, Quark tries to flee the planet, but Grilka guilt trips him into staying to face Dagor. In the duel, Quark throws his weapon to the ground, denouncing the duel as no better than an execution, since Quark has no chance of winning, and there is no honor in killing an unarmed Ferengi. Dagor is happy to kill Quark anyway, but Chancellor Gowron, disguised as Dagor, is disgusted by Dagor's conduct. aborts the duel and banishes Dagor. Gowron rules that there are enough unusual circumstances to grant Grilka special dispensation to lead her house in her husband's death. Grilka gratefully grants Quark a divorce. Slaps him across the face, in fact. In a side plot, back on Deep Space Nine, Keiko O'Brien feels bored. Aw, poor Keiko. And useless after the closure of her school. Her husband, Miles, advises her to focus on her botanical career instead and convinces her to go on a research expedition to Bajor. And
So you
that
get
is all the collective internet has to say about the House of Quark. Boss, tell me what you thought of this episode.
So you get to get rid of Keiko. There you go. You're gonna be happy about that. I like this episode. This is a fun one. I like when they have the fun Quark episodes sometimes, and I think this is very entertaining. A bit of a look in the Klingon society a little bit more. So just a fun kind of just a character driven episode, which I enjoyed. Enjoyable, personally. Yeah. Notes.
Okay. The House of Quark. So these are the notes that I wrote while I watched the episode. Dr. Stephen Hawking visited the set during this episode. I love Dr. Stephen Hawking, so that matters to me. I love his books. I love him. I think he's amazing. This is a comedy episode, I wrote in yelling all caps.
It is.
Keiko is weird and mean to Miles for no reason. And she like pushes him away when he tries to kiss her and hug her and ask her what's wrong. I thought that that's weird. If somebody walks over to you and you love them and they're being tender with you, I think you should be tender back. I think it's just weird and I don't like that. This episode marks when the audience notices they love Rom. The writers shift here and start writing Rom as a very likable, moral, ethical, principled, and kind brother. So we see a total shift in the Rom character here.
More inconsistency.
It is inconsistent. It would have been nice if Rom would have had his mettle tested and had a change of heart, perhaps some type of loss or some type of hero's journey. It would have made for a great episode, and we would have fallen in love with Rom, and all of that would have
He definitely gets better later, though.
Yes, it does, but I agree with you, boss.
Yeah.
Joey Choo!
Joey Choo! Yes, I love it.
Whenever you have an opportunity to speak Klingon, please do so. And if you don't know, Joey Choo is Beam Me Up. Gowron is magnificent. Gowron is always magnificent. He is just Robert O'Reilly.
Yeah, he's
obviously Irish. Just amazing person, wonderful actor. Just Gowron is just everything. He's just so exciting and wonderful, and I just love him. And I love Robert O'Reilly's wild eyes. Oh my goodness, crazy Irishman, so cool. This is not science fiction, but this is pure delight. This is excellent character play. This is how you do drama. This is how you do a dramedy. So drama and comedy smushed together.
Right.
Quark uses way too much. Quark uses way too many, human aphorisms. We see him talking about discretion and valor, sticks and stones. I always complain about this stuff. Chris Persia always complains about this stuff. It is the mark of a good author to make something up that has to be explained so that people go, oh, so other people on other planets have those crazy sayings too. And it's not even that hard. Instead of sticks and stones, you could say two grubs and I don't know, give me something here, and beetle snuff. Two grubs, beetle snuff, or whatever, and then the person's like, what? And then you explain it, and then it's like you're actually building the race up even more, and so it's very exciting for people. So that's a lost opportunity, and it's also a place that takes you out of the story. This episode makes me howl every time. And when I mean howl, like I get loud. Like when I'm watching it, I do the ugly laugh and I like terrible. It's awful. I'm so loud and obnoxious when I watch this episode because it's so much fun. I love watching Dagor being back banished. I think I love back banishment. It's so cool. Gowron is my hero. I love him. And you know you're hot when you're in makeup and you're in full Klingon makeup and you are still hot. So Mary Kay Adams, you played Grilka. You are so gorgeous. It's ridiculous. Like you're gorgeous with nasty teeth and an armadillo on your face. How hot are you, Chicky Poo? You're beautiful. Um, and then I wrote the O'Brien relationship is unrealistic. And, there are lots of scholars that talk about that have written papers on this episode and have written papers on the relationship betwixt Miles O'Brien and Keiko. But I completely disagree. They say that this is a realistic depiction of relationships. I don't think it is. I'm, as many of you know, but if you're just tuning in, so I don't make a fool out of myself, I'm a scholar and I'm trying to finish my doctorate. And it's extremely difficult to do that without funding. And it's also extremely difficult to do that if you want to stay where you are. And that's actually the fate of many people in academia. And it's really horrible because you don't get to self-actualize, even if you've won a whole bunch of research awards, even if you're like this star academic and basically you could get accepted anywhere. It means that you can never own a house. It means that because you just, you have to move all the time. It means that you have to adopt a certain lifestyle. And it usually involves being single. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to my husband, and I'm not going to do that to my offspring. I owe them something, and I'll find another way. So I just think that it's preposterous that someone with a very small child will go to another planet for 6 months and not see their husband, and their husband being 3 hours away. I love my husband, and I would never leave him for 6 months, not being able to sleep with him or be with him or not being with my offspring. So all of those scholars who have said, oh, this is such a realistic depiction of having a wife that's a botanist. Well, if that's a realistic depiction, then it's easy to see why so many people get divorced. Moving around and being away from your family is incredibly hard. So writing papers that tell people it's realistic to just leave your family behind to go and find yourself is kind of messed up. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to put that on record. It's incredibly hard for women to just pick up and go. It's incredibly hard for men to just pick up and go. And men and women should not be leaving their children and their wives or their husbands to go stroke their ego. When you're in a partnership and you make kids and you make a life, you're bound to that. So I don't like all of the literature that's been written about this episode. I think it's extremely unfair. And it means that you have to have a life of solitude in order to be fulfilled. I'm not going to do that. So that's kind of BS, and I'm calling you on it.
Good night, Classic Comics. Have a good one, buddy. And hello to our wonderful friend, Apollomies Minion.
And the pepperoni. Yeah, and I thought that the closing scene with Rom showed that he was such a good brother. I thought it was very touching and very kind. And so that closing scene was just like, it makes you want to phone up your brother and just say, hey, I love you. So I thought that that was very touching. So overall, I think that this is an outstanding episode, and I give it outstanding high marks. But with the exception of all of the scholarly literature written about the Keiko and Miles O'Brien relationship, I think that's kind of BS. Anyway, and that's it.
What is your rating?
A+.
Okay, I've got it at an A. But yeah, I'll keep it. I was almost giving it an A-. I'm gonna go with an A- just for the B plot with Keiko stuff. I mean, I didn't have anywhere close to your reaction to it, but hey, Pleasant, if you don't like the way we do things, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we're giving.
Dude, we're 2 hours into the show and we're almost done. Like, is it that you want to actually be on with us on air? Because there are a lot of people that are just here to listen, right? And a lot of those people, they're not here
Yeah.
to listen to you. They're here to listen to everyone. And that's a part of what we do. So trying to make me feel like I talk too much, or like that you don't want to listen to this. If you don't want to listen to this, then just don't. No one's forcing you to be here, bud.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, come on, dude. Anyway, if you would start our, I will now everyone, please give your reviews, including you. Pleasant, give yours if you so choose. And you said sigh. I don't mean anything bad. That's passive aggressiveness. I mean, I'm not into that, but whatever. We got a, so, we're not gonna get too far into that. Just give a review if you want, but let us do things our way if you don't mind. I'm going to bring us some great Max Redstone entertainment.
Maximum Redstone.
Let's see here. The great Max Redstone, master of the limerick, has here.
The House of Quark by the great Max Redstone. Kozak, the Klingon, falls on his knife, and the Gore threatens Quark's life. This and Keiko anoint a very sore point. On DS9, it's very dangerous for a man to have a wife.
Sorry. So sorry. But
Don't be sorry. We love it. We love it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. Still sorry. Maybe folks don't read my comments as I mean them. I don't know how to read them any other way, dude. I mean, I can't hear your voice, but that's okay. You can say what you want, but look, if we answer back, you just have to take it on the chin, is all I can tell you.
I'm kidding too. I'm totally kidding also. I'm just kidding. Just joshing.
Yeah. I mean, you could hear us though. Anyway. Thanks, ED. I know that was a terrible one, but yeah.
He loves it anyways.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see where. So, you got some of them starred already for us?
I do, boss. Yep.
Midnight's Oblivion, who had to run off and get something to eat, did leave us a review. Says B+. Any culture or a world building episode are my fave. Says Midnight's Oblivion.
Agreed.
JD Lewis says I don't know. I mean, a lightweight but deeply satisfying episode. I have a soft spot in my heart for Quark and Family eps. Yes, and they have a few of them there. A+, bedtime now. See you Monday, my friends. See you then. JD, thank you so much for being here tonight. If you're still here, we
have
really
a great
appreciate
Sunday,
you.
honey. Thank you for
Indeed.
being here.
Cassandra Beacom says the most favorable representation of a female Klingon, not just boobs and an exaggerated tracts of land.
Yes.
I liked the Quark side of the story a lot. O'Brien family needs counseling. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I
By the way,
totally agree.
This episode did feature also as an old Klingon, Joseph Ruskin, who played, of course, he was in the Gamesters of Triskelion.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only actor who's been in 4 different treks. Almost, I don't know if it's the most, but it's kind of close. He's been, of course, he's been with all the crews because he's been on the original series. He was in Star Trek Insurrection. So not on the series of TNG, but he was on that. Of course, this 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine. He's been on Voyager and Enterprise.
Cool.
And he, of course, played. He was in the Gamesters of Triskelion, the master, the lead thrall. So,
wow.
Yeah. The great J.T. Kirk says, "Hey, more Grilka, even more Grilka than more cowbell." Quark is a lucky SOB. I love this episode every year on the rewatch. Thank you, J.T. Kirk. It was a fun one. Max Redstone says A-. It's fun. It's fun to charter an accountant and sail the wild accountancy to find, explore the funds offshore and scourge the shoals of bankruptcy. Wow. Always limericking.
Oh, perfect.
Well done, Maxer. He says, it can be manly in insurance. Well, it will up your premiums semi-annually. Oh, So you can be manually in insurance. We'll up your premiums semi-manually. It's all tax deductible. We're fairly incorruptible. We're sailing on the wide accountancy. I wasn't expecting that. I just thought it was a review. This is fantastic. Hang on, Max. I think we got another one by Max. Okay, here he goes. Miles should have said to Keiko, look, honey, Julian and I are going to be a wash and Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
Be a wash and Scotch whiskey for the next 6 months. So, yeah, why don't you go off to base your take? The kid to. I'll take the kid to. Sorry, Max. I moved the screen back again. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Pleasant Valley, only one. Wow, A+. Quark killing the Klingon was great. It was a great scene, and I really loved the scene at the end with Quark and Gowron was hilarious in it. Yeah, just a very fun episode. Pleasant, that's for sure. Anti-Derivative Jill, our chief of communications, our communications officer, says A+. It was a clever enough combination of aligning Ferengi economics with Klingon honor, but the twists and ploys and political games that expand the Klingon lore was even better.
Agreed.
Indeed, indeediousness. I see. Here's one for Wolfie. I'm only on Kalel's. Do we have his number 1? I see 2 and 3 only. Anyway, for Wolfie, we have A-. Fun episode. I love everything so far with Klingon civilians. Gowron is always great. Love seeing Kronos and how everyday Klingons live. Kaplach. I don't see his number 1.
It's there. It's at 6 minutes after the hour.
Oh, I moved too far. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Kalel. We'll get to it, man. We got Hungry Boy. H, rated H for Hubba Hubba. Hubba Hubba. And dare I say Hubba Hubba. Plus, the comedy, stuff, 4 hoarders. 1 hoarder deducted for excess Keikoism. Oh, poor Keiko. You're also me, the Keiko. Kalel says A+. This was a fun Quark-centric episode. I particularly enjoyed the banter between Quark and Grilka. One of my favorite scenes has to be where Quark tried to explain to Gowron and the rest of the High Council Grilka's financial situation, and the latter characters' confused looks as they tried to keep up with the explanation was priceless. Although Gowron stepping in and literally saving Quark's life at the end was really the only logical conclusion, it still seemed like an easy way out that the writers chose to end the story. It made sense to me, though. But it was, yeah. I can't understand why you say that, though.
Boosh is here.
Oh, Boosh is here? Hello, Boosh McFadden.
And it looks like he's having some technical problems loading our show. Sorry, Boosh.
Sorry about that. I don't know what the deal could be. Could be YouTube, I hope, or hopefully nothing too serious. But thank you for popping in. Good to see you. Scuba Pete says A++++. Gowron, enough said.
Yeah, right? Scuba Pete. Oh my gosh.
Indeedishness. Nevada Amanda Bear says A+. This is one of my favorite Quark episodes. Also, a lot of very Keiko-esqueness. Keiko-esqueness. Woe unto those with a wife like her, says Nanat. Thank you so much. I'm the only one that likes Keiko. David G. Sound says A-, a brave Ferengi. Who would have thought? Yeah, again, Gowron's great. I love how the outpost devious bartender becomes directly intertwined in the affairs and decisions of the entire Klingon Empire by an accident. Yes, fun episode indeed, sir. JT Kirk says it's been a long time naming all the treks.
No, go back and sing it.
It's been a long road. Time naming all the treks he's been in. You gonna make me do the whole thing? So seem like the guy. It's been a long time. No, I mean what? Hey, when we get to Enterprise, we're gonna play that song. I'm just kidding.
That's great.
Okay, I'm trying to find a number 1 for Michael Beacom.
Oh, Boosh says, to close the store, Briggs, not the program. I just got home and I hate this garbage. I'm sorry, honey.
Oops, sorry. Oh, he's got 3. I think he means 1 of 3, so we'll start there. Michael Beacom says, he says 3 of 3, but I think he means 1 of 3. B+. I like this episode. Guilty pleasure. Keiko. It was obviously, we can't make Keiko work, so time to get rid of her. Yeah, guess so. So I was okay with it, even though it was a B plot. Yeah, it was fine. I don't think she was that mean. I think she was just kind of, unhappy. But, now she's happier. The character interaction was the joy of this episode, and Mary Kay Adams in particular knocked it out of the park. Yes.
Yep.
Really gave Armin a chance to shine, but he was terrific. Armin Shimmerman is always great.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to have Grilka grab Quark. It's so funny to me, Armin Shimmerman, because he was doing, around this time was right when he started doing Buffy, and he was Percival Skinner on that show, and you just hated him on that show. You couldn't wait till he finally gets eaten by the big monster in season 3 or whatever.
Just so you know, boss,
yes.
I just starred a gift for you from Maximum Redstone.
Oh, I'll be right there, Max. Thank you. Sorry. Fade to black, and the episode ends with Quark in Bashir's med bay with many bandages, but a big smile on his face, with Cisco asking what happened, and he does not answer. Indeedishness. Let's see here. Oh, thank you so much, Max Redstone, for the $2 super chat. You were too kind, buddy. Galron is calling you to glory, calling you to honor. Kaplach.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Enigmatic Drop Bear says B+. This was a bit of harmless fun. A welcome bit of levity after the previous Dominion-heavy episodes. What's to dislike about a Klingon and a Ferengi marriage and its inevitable dissolution? Juxtaposing Morn's, Quark's, and O'Brien's domestic circumstances also made for an interesting and humorous contrast. I also like Dax's unique perspective that only 2 genders plus 300 years would give.
Very nice.
Indeedishness. Pleasant Valley has another one now. Says it's pretty simple. The brother and wife intrigue was hilarious. I loved how Quark stood up before the Klingons. Agreed. It was a lot of fun. Bush McFadden says Grilka is hot. Yes. Well, there's no argument with there, buddy. And eventually,
I hate it when it jumps like that.
Oops. The Catman, aka DD Meyer, says Clobby, excellent episode. I give it an A. Actually enjoyed this episode very much. This was my second favorite out of all we have covered tonight.
Good. That's great. Excellent. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Bush also says, I really liked this episode and said, Quark episodes are fantastic. Yeah, Quark does have a lot of fun episodes. I agree. And Zathra says, the House of Umox.
I know some of this isn't reviews, but some of our friends are pretty hysterical tonight, and they're making great little jabs. So
Umox from Grilka could have been painful for Quark, but he probably liked it anyway. The great engineer Mark deal with a C says A. Oh, no more Keiko. Well, not really. She'll be back, but anyway, will we ever hear? No, I'm not going to say it. Those words again. Great comedic writing made even better by the excellent cast, especially Armin Shimmerman. He is terrific as always. Lots of great yucks in this episode, and Klingon lore, I think it means Klingon lore, is always interesting to watch. We just needed the cleric from the Princess Bride to show up and to Quark to say, marriage. Oh, I didn't even see your next one, but you said that you. Marriage is what brings us together today. Marriage, that blessed arrangement, that dream within a dream. It's also inconceivable that Keiko would leave an engineer to go spend time with plants. Well, what can you do? What can you do? Oh, we got more? Did you star some more?
Yes, just because they're nice comments from our friends.
It's almost like you're trying to tempt me.
I have to do it. I mean, if they request it.
JT, why would you want?
That's great.
And Raquel, obviously. Zathras says almost 50% likes this episode compared to the 4 we reviewed.
Mm-hmm. And then Michael Beacom had a cool comment.
Okay. It says, let's see. FYI, should mention Cassandra did great cosplay as a Klingon back in our con days and acted as Klingon security for Nichelle Nichols when she was in town. That's fantastic.
I love
Way to
it.
go,
I love it.
Cassandra.
I
Love
love
it.
it. I love it.
Love, love, love it. That is amazing. Great stuff. Amaze balls, as they say. Well, Fantasiistic, are we ready for our final episode of this evening?
Yeah, I think we're there, boss.
All right, everyone. Our remaining episode for the evening is Equilibrium, not to be confused with the movie with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
But and while you're doing that, I'm going to go take medicine and stuff. And so you
Okay,
have the time.
Monkey G-Buzz.
Monkey G-Buzz, what's up?
Hey, Matt.
Good to
Okay,
see ya.
Equilibrium is a season 3, episode 4. It's got a prod code of 450 for the international people rooting around trying to find it because all the numbers are off. It first aired on October 17th, 1994. I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia the plot as assembled by various users across the internet. Let's do it. At a dinner party, Jadzia Dax toys with a piano and finds herself playing an unfamiliar tune despite having no musical training in this life nor in her previous ones. Later, she experiences odd mood swings and hallucinations of a masked figure. Bashir finds that these symptoms are linked to her symbiont. According to Dax's medical history, a previous host experienced similar symptoms when he went into a 6-month coma. Cisco and Bashir take Dax back to her homeworld, where Dr. Renhall of the Trill Symbiosis Commission stabilizes Dax's symptoms. Stabilizes her symptoms? No, they stabilize Dax. Anyways, but Dax relapses and experiences a new hallucination of Trill hospital guards accosting her. Frustrated, Cisco, Bashir, and Jadzia visit the caves where unjoined symbionts are spawned to consult the caretakers. A caretaker there believes that Dax's problems stem from memories of one of her symbiont's previous hosts. Cisco and Bashir identify the musical tune Dax heard in her hallucinations as a composition by a Trill named Joran Bellar. When Dax sees his photograph, she experiences another hallucination of the masked man murdering everyone. And when she rips off the mask, she sees Joran's face. She then goes into neural shock and is hospitalized. Dr. Renhall plans to remove the Dax symbiont, which will kill the host, Jadzia. Cisco and Bashir revisit the spawning caves, but the caretaker there has been scared into keeping quiet. Bashir finds that the Trill government deleted information from Joran Bellar from its records. However, they managed to contact Joran's brother, Yolad, who says that Joran was a candidate for being joined with a symbiont. According to the official report, Joran was rejected due to a violent temper. He murdered a doctor who evaluated him and was then killed by hospital security. However, Jalad doubts this story because he remembers Joran telling him that he had been successfully joined. Cisco and Bashir deduce that Joran was one of Dax's previous hosts, and that to cover this up, Joran's files were altered, and Dax's memories of him were suppressed. Cisco and Bashir confront Dr. Renhall and accuse her of letting Jadzia die in order to protect an even bigger secret. The Trill government claims that only 1 in 1,000 Trill are physically and psychologically fit to be joined with a symbiont. If a symbiont is placed in an unfit host, both host and symbiont will die in days. Joran's psychological problems should have disqualified him, but the doctors failed to detect them and gave him a symbiont. By the time the doctors discovered their mistake, Joran had been carrying the symbiont for months, 6 months actually. when he ought to have been dead after a few days. This proves that the official criteria for being joined is excessively stringent. Renhall admits that nearly half of all Trill are in fact fit to carry symbionts. But if the truth came out and the supply of the symbionts would be fought over fiercely, jeopardizing their welfare and destabilizing Trill society. To prevent this, the government pretends that only a tiny minority of the Trill population can be joined so as to artificially lower the demand for symbionts to a manageable level. The only way to stabilize Dax's mind would be to allow her suppressed memories of Jiran to resurface. Faced with Sisko's threat to expose the secret of the entire planet, if she allows Jadzia to die, Renhall removes Dax's memory blocks, and Sisko agrees to keep the truth secret. Dax recovers and must come to terms with her disturbing new memories. And that is all the internet, all that Trekkies have to say about the plot of Equilibrium. Boss, are you back? And what'd you think of the episode?
I think it's excellent. I think this is a great science fiction episode. I really do. I like the whole, spookiness of it and all the stuff about the backstory of this secret from Dax's life. I found it compelling and intriguing that she had this unknown life that I just thought it was totally well done all the way through. I thought it was really excellent.
Cool.
I thought this was a kind of story that you should do every once in a while that isn't about the minions or comedy stuff or even everything about all this different, a bunch of different characters. Just kind of an interesting, I thought it was just an interesting story.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Notes?
Jake says that the beets are sauteed. We all know they're not sauteed.
Oh.
The beets are simmering in liquid that looks like canning liquid. These are pickled beets being warmed up. Sorry, I used to own a restaurant. Beets. Can't help it.
I take it back. Now I hate the episode because beets are disgusting.
Oda went home to the Gold Lake. Jadzia goes home to Hugh Hefner's milky breeding grotto. Repeating ideas in different species is annoying, and it is a habit of the authors of this show. The second time, the Dax symbiont is hijacked, but we jump to a cover-up instead. I mean, the concept is cool, but playing this card twice is annoying. We could call it the Great Link as well, because it fits. Only, it's really Hugh Hefner's milky breeding grotto.
What the hell? I don't know what you were thinking of when you watched this episode.
Well, it looks like Hugh Hefner's grotto, number one.
Okay.
They call it a breeding. They call it a breeding pond, and it's milky. So it's like, it's a milky breeding pond in a grotto. Hugh Hefner's grotto. Xer. Hey, Gen Xer.
Welcome.
And Jadzia enters the mating milk with her boots on for an extra squishy good time. And that's all I put in my notes.
Skip. Well, I'll take you didn't like it, but I really did. I thought this was an interesting idea. I liked the concept of it. I thought it was a very well told story, and I kind of really liked not just the concept, but I liked at the end when Sisko basically had to bully that woman into saving, Dax, or he would expose their asses. Perhaps not fitting with all of Star Trek, but this show deviates from Star Trek all of the time. So I thought it was very well done. I thought it was a very interesting idea that they managed to somehow suppress her memories of Jiran. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But then again, I've always been fascinated by. I didn't mind that story before with Dax. I know this is real, and this story is not really anything like it, but is two stories about the Dax symbiote. I like the idea of the Dax symbiote and the former lives and all that stuff that we always get. I like the character of Jadzia.
But it is the second time she's been hijacked.
Well, I don't think she's hijacked in this one. I just think she has an ailment from a bad memory.
But the Dax symbiote was hijacked by Jiran, right?
Well, I mean, Jiran was messing with her mind. I don't see how she was hijacked, but but I didn't see it as a hijack at all. And I don't see anything like that other episode.
Well, Jiran was not supposed to receive a symbiont, right?
No, he wasn't.
And yet he received it, and yet he entered.
Yeah, but they whose fault was that? They gave him one. They made the mistake of giving him one.
Yeah.
He didn't take it like the other guy did.
Well, I know, but still, it's like it's building a pattern, right? And so, and it's also especially because of the Great Link. Like the Great Link is a giant gold lake of you know, babies mating, and you know, the founders, and then you know, it's like they wait one episode, and then the very next episode. I think if the episodes would have been back to back, I think people would notice more. But it's just like, how many of the characters are we going to repeat this same idea where they're all from some type of lake or birthing liquid? It's just like, I don't know. For me,
I don't know. The Symbionts don't seem that they're similar to the Changelings for me. So, but it was
yeah. Well, no, I totally respect that. Just for me, it's just like there's a Great Link, it's gold, everybody looks gold, and then all of a sudden we have this milky breeding grotto, and you know, and that's, she goes back to her milky breeding grotto, just like Odo went back to, you know, his Great Link, which is actually just a gold lake. So one's a gold lake and the other one's a milky breeding grotto, but they both returned to their liquid. And so I don't know. Spread it out. Spread it out so I don't notice it.
I guess they could have placed the episode later in the rotation when her. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see any kind of similarity between the two. That's just me. You know, I'm not that smart. So.
No, it has nothing to do with your intelligence. It's just I'm just seeing a pattern, you know. Like we see the Tal Shiar, we see this section 31, we see the Obsidian Order, and so we see the Borg then becoming the Jamadar. It's very important to come up with unique and new ideas instead of trying to find a way to reshape ideas that you're already using, especially when they're so close together. So if I'm an author and I'm sitting around and I'm thinking about where Odo comes from and what the nature of his species is, and then just one episode later, I'm thinking that Jadzia has something very similar. You know, as an author, you're thinking, okay, where's Odo from? Odo's from a great lake of gold liquid. Jadzia is from a milky grotto pond. It's just, yeah. You know.
She's not though. She's actually just a solid in the and they're M's here. Up there. And the symbiotes do live in this liquid stuff and they communicate with each other, but they're nothing like the Changelings. But anyway, I got to tell you this: TV and even Star Trek, which we love, is, especially TV in general, is very repetitive. And so Star Trek copies itself all the time and feeds off of itself. As a lot of shows do. So I mean, they could have kicked this can down the block a little while though for a spell, so that it would feel a little bit fresher to me. But because you know, if you're creating the world of pretend, you have all the opportunities in the world to create something new, to create something wonderful. And you know, the world is only how you create it. There are no rules. And so you should write as though there are no rules and make something entirely new and something very, very fresh. But that's just my opinion. Sigh. We're causing a sigh again. Okay. So what is your rating of Equilibrium?
I give it a C.
Okie dokie. I give it a B+. I thought it was a really good story and a nice idea. So, my friends, what is now, my good friends in the chat, our friends in the chat, please give us your review or your sigh if you want to sigh at us, like Pleasant seems to want to do. And I will bring us some, if you will star those, I will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. If you're ready. Well, it just sounds weird when you mute. You still there, number one?
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm just waiting for everyone to start commenting.
I got you. I got you. Sometimes it sounds off when you're muting, but I know you do it because of the clicks thingy. So
yeah, the clicks can be annoying for everyone that's listening at home. So
I know that's why I like them.
I'll try and be as quiet as possible.
No, you can.
But I'm here.
You can mute. I would just sometimes I'm like, is she still there? Oops. Anyway, all right. So let's go. We got Equilibrium from the great Maximum Redstone. He says, Dax plays a tune that causes a chill. In shock, she must return to the home of the Trill. In the symbiote pool, Dax regains her cool. And it turns out an old ghost liked music and also to kill. Well done, Max. Oh, always. What, man, Max is on fire tonight. Good stuff, buddy. All righty. Let's see here. JT Kirk says B-. Overlord DVD's minions maintain the Trill symbiote pools. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Fact check true. The filth ruins everything about the Trill for me. Yeah. Well, the filth doesn't count though, buddy. I wish I could unwatch SCD's disgraceful interpretation. Well, you can't. Even if you can't, it doesn't. Yeah, just like it doesn't apply to anything. So put it out of your mind. Put it out of your mind. But it does not count because it is filth. Wolfie says rating A, good sci-fi, nice exploration of the Trill. Their past is a mess with TNG, but starts to hone in here. I like the idea of the symbiote species being able to live on their own. Yeah, good pernt. I like it too.
Pleasant Valley Picker, please stop telling me that you love me and then saying incredibly rude things while I'm on air. We're all adults here. If you don't like me talking and you don't like the things that I say, you don't have to listen here. I'm a guest here. This isn't my channel. This isn't my show. I don't really care if you like me or not. But do me a favor. Don't play mind games with me, okay? Bud, don't sit here and say a whole bunch of incredibly rude crap to me to the point where other people in the chat are telling you that you're borderline, like way out of line, and then turn around and tell me that you like me. There is nobody and no show that I want to be on so bad that I have to take abuse from strangers or play mind games with strangers. You don't, every single time I talk, you have a fit. I really don't care. If you don't want to listen to me, you don't have to be here, bud. Okay? And if Clobby doesn't want me here anymore, he can ask me to leave. But that's not going to happen.
No,
right?
It's not going to happen.
So stop playing games with me. I don't care how you feel. Okay? You don't even use your real name. Why should I care what you think or what you feel? Especially when you're constantly insulting me and then telling me that you love me. Dude, go away.
Aggressive. Well, hey, look, everyone, number one has a right to defend herself if she feels it. And, I back you up 100%. And again, I didn't see what you're specifically referring to, but the sigh and all that other stuff. And then you don't mean it in a bad way. Look, you're always welcome to watch and comment and all that kind of stuff. But if you throw out passive-aggressive barbs, that's what you're going to get back. And we love we truly do love all of our friends here, and we love hanging out with you. But, nobody else does that. No one else here is doing that. They're all friends, and they're all, everyone's friends and being friendly and saying nice things. No one else is doing what you're doing. So you got back what you put in. And I back number one 100%. And I love you, number one. And yeah, you never have to worry about not being welcome here. And anyone doesn't like you here, they don't have to listen. And we hope everyone likes to listen, but you don't have to. We're all here because we choose to be. So Hungry Boy says, C+. A bit convoluted. Another mix of film noir. Hang on a second. Check something. I have a. Let's see here. I hear you there. Let's see. And you can pop in anytime, Mark D, if you want to pop in anytime, dude. Because we're gonna do our reviews here. Let's see. Another mix of film noir murder mysteries with sci-fi, but not smoothly executed. Though at least Timor was quirky and Kira was cute. You and Kira, dude, get a room with Kira. No, I better not say that because you will.
It's the cat suit. He's a sucker for a cat suit.
He likes those cat suits. Well, who can blame him? I mean, nothing we can blame you, dude. Except you think about Cardassians. We're going to have a talk, my friend. The escalation of the confrontation betwixt Kira and Dax was chilling, akin to symptoms of horrible neurological medical conditions, which was good foreshadowing. The sexy time Milky's spa bath was a nice touch, but curdled by the embrace of a nutbaggy murderer, Jadzia's mother. There's a forgiveness levels there. One big long word there. So 1 Horta point deducted.
That's a really intelligent thing to say. Because imagine what it would be like to reconcile the memories of someone who is a mass murderer. It's not going to be easy, right?
Indeedy. The great Max Redstone says a B+. What secrets must a society keep inviolate, lest those secrets lose containment and spread? Will those secrets destroy the society, or will they merely change the paradigms known as normal? Good point. Let's see here. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. I'm sorry, I thought we were doing a shadow. He is doing a shadow joke. The Symbiosis Commission doesn't. Jadzia in her bathing gown, so gorgeous. In the end, Dax must learn to love and accept their murdery parts.
Scary. Very scary.
And it's addressed later. A Boosh McFadden, I liked it. And he gave it a B. It's a fair cop. Michael Beacom says, can't rate, did not finish watching, sorry, but interesting story in companion page 174, where Michael Pilar saw a magic show with Jeff Magnus McBride, whose act featured masks and wanted to feature him.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
That's great.
Ron Moore said, what are we going to do with this? I have no idea what this show is going to be. Ira Bear, we had the actors and the masks, and that was it. That's strange.
It is. Thank you, Michael Beacom.
Hardly basis for an episode, but oh well. I got
you. Imagine working with that.
Odo and Dax are the elves of the world, 300 and plus years old. This episode shows that Dax is not perfect, no matter how many centuries has passed.
Mm-hmm.
Fair call. Thank you.
Lovely.
Dave G. Sound. Oh, I'm sorry. Says, C. I found the overall plot very pedestrian, even on first viewing, not lacking, but not exciting. It's a fair cop. Michael Beacom had another one. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had another one there, Michael. I apologize. Where we at? Okay. Many writers say that limitations inspire creativity. Sounds like they might be. That might be the case here. Rather, sorry. Thank you. Pleasant Valley Picker said, I could not find a way to watch it online, so C. Okay. All right. Kal-El says B+. This episode was a fascinating look into Trill Society and the joining process of host and symbiote in particular. We get to see some great character development from the Jadzia Dax. Hang on a second. Character. And Cisco's intervention on Jadzia's behalf by reaffirming her ability to cope with the risks involved by integrating her memories of Jiran, but that it was ultimately, we'll go to the next one. Her decision to do so was a well-told story with a satisfying conclusion.
Nice.
Indeedishness. Naranax Amanda Bear says B+. This was a pretty decent Dax episode. I'm not a big fan of the species storyline episodes, but this one was intriguing. Thank you, Naranax Amanda Bear. Let's see what else. Enigmatic Drop Bear says C+. This was another one of those Dax stories principally driven by different characters. In this case, Cisco and Bashir.
Mm-hmm.
Dax is a good character, but the Trill, generally speaking, are really creepy. So often we see them involved in conspiracies.
Yeah.
This story seems to confirm it's endemic to the species.
Mm-hmm.
Even the minor characters come across as dishonest. Yolad says he can't remember yesterday, but when pursued, it turns out he has an excellent recall of events 80 odd years ago. That kind of, in fairness, ED, that sounds like me. I can't remember yesterday, but I can remember some dumb crap from. And I'm not 80, but I'm way up there.
But I do. I get his point.
No, yeah, I have bad short-term memory, but I understand what he's saying. It perhaps follows that epigenetic factors may be behind Dax's attraction to the Ferengi.
Mm.
As always, great work, enigmatic drop bear.
Deception. Deception.
Jill, our wonderful Jill, our anti-derivative Jill, our communications officer, says B, joined Trill suffering so intensely from the suppression of a past life and the process by which it is resolved relates well with real human psychology, sorry. I'm sorry, I need to look at them. And the acknowledgement of past trauma. Thank you so much, Jill. We don't have Mark Dees yet. You there, dude, or did you?
Wonderful reviews, everyone. So good.
I think, Catman, did he? Cat said, Clobby, solid A, good sci-fi. I love the exploration of the Trill Jadzia had to learn to accept all parts. Good or bad, thought she was shining and excellent. Thank you.
Oh, you have one from
says, yeah. All right. B-. I was not a fan of the Dax storylines. My least favorite character apart from Keiko. Really? I did not know that. This one was still quite interesting as it felt like real sci-fi rather than drama in space.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I do understand why everybody's like, here's some sci-fi. Here's some sci-fi.
Yeah, I thought it was. It wasn't just a straight up drama. So
that's right. Yeah, I totally respect that.
Yes, sir. Well, Mark D said he'll join us soon. He hasn't given us a review yet, but he can tell us when he gets here, I guess.
I think he's on his way.
Yeah, he might be on his way. Well, let's see here. I guess we'll wait for his.
Do you want some elevator music?
Yeah, where are you, dude? You got a review? He's busy. He's probably busy. Because we got a little show and tell coming up. So we got a bonus treat for everybody. Mark went out to the beach to get some fresh clams. Oh,
are we putting them on pizza?
No, at least they're not beets.
I love beets.
Do you?
Yes,
I do. Oh, man. Oh, good Lord.
It's probably because I'm Irish and I'm from Canada. And I think it's like built into your DNA to want to eat those cold climate vegetables, cabbage, beets, stuff that will grow in the frozen tundra.
There's Mark. He says, B, some scary scenes as we learn the Trill Society is manipulated based on a lie for the greater good. This episode was very Total Recall. He says, scary to realize how people's minds can be manipulated by advanced tech. Jadzia can swim in my pool anytime, loses a point due to beets and not clams. Wow. Yikes.
She can swim in your grotto anytime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that ends our review segment for tonight. Let everybody know, while we're waiting on Mark to show us some stuff, and I'm about to show you some other stuff that we have some pictures. Here are the episodes from next week, folks. Next week on Saturday Night Star Trek, 4 more episodes. There's Marco right there.
Hey.
We have welcome. We have Second Skin, The Abandoned, Civil Defense, and Meridian. So those are episodes for next week. So
Meridian's going to be fun, of course, because it inspired Seth MacFarlane to do that episode. So it's going to be so much fun.
Did it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. Let's see here. All right. So while you're getting that ready, Mark, our good buddy Wolfie. Yep. Hang on, let me.
Do Wolfie first. Yeah, do Wolfie first.
Has some picks, folks, because of course this week we introduced the Defiant. Our good buddy Wolfie. I hope you're still out there, Wolfie. Oops. Present with this present stuff has something for us. As soon as I get to it, there we go. some pictures of some of his cool Defiant stuff. And if you want to put anything in the chat, letting us know what it is and all that stuff, Wolfie, be my guest. So let's see. All right, here we go.
Very nice.
Yeah. These are this is Defiant Collection. Wow. We've got what do we have with a regular like a figure? It's not one's a model, one's not. One's like a toy of it.
Yeah, it's the Playmates toy that came out, which is awesome. And then you've got the USS Defiant model by AMT, which is another classic. And I believe those are the instructions for the toy, which I'm looking for, and I'll show in a second. And then you've got the Hallmark ornament
manual and the Hallmark
ornament, in which I don't have. I don't have that.
Wow.
And I believe those are the micro machines. I could be 100% wrong. Micro machines.
Like they're small ones. They might be the micro machines,
or they may not be micro machines. But Wolfie will let us know in a second. Yep. So very cool, Wolfie. Yep, that's awesome.
And here's of course.
He's got the box. I don't have the box.
Big box there. My goodness.
Yeah.
Such a cool ship. There you go. And again,
and we'll show that in a sec.
The Defiant. Adrift but salvageable.
Tough little ship.
Little.
Worf is gonna shin kick Riker there. It's like that was like an FU. That was everyone went nuts in the
AMT
movie theater
model.
over that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you built that, Wolfie, or because I save all the boxes
He
from my
probably
models
did.
too? So I'm
I
assuming he
probably
did.
did.
This doesn't surprise me at all. He knows so much about the ships.
Yeah. One micro machine and one AMT mini Defiant model. Okay. Cool.
JT Kirk says every time I watch the search and the Defiant appears, I have to change my pants.
Whoa, look at this.
Chris Persia says in Australia they put beets on burgers.
Yeah,
What?
and
That's
Hungry Boy was
illegal.
saying that too.
Hungry boy, Chris, I need to have
No.
one of those burgers. That sounds
No.
delicious. Way better than pickles.
Oh, that's cool. Look at
No.
this. Look at those plans. That's awesome. I love that kind of technical manual stuff. Where are the
DG
crew
Sound
quarters
says, I
on there?
collected the Star Trek micro machines and quite a few of the Star Trek attack wing ships. Still have them all.
Nice.
Let's see here.
I don't have the Defiant as a micro machine, unfortunately. Or did they have the Defiant as a micro machine?
Yeah, I think they did. I don't have it, unfortunately.
Or I don't think I do, unless I have it in a box. You know, I'm looking at some of my micro machines right now, unless I have it in a box somewhere here. But that's from the technical manual. That's awesome.
JT Kirk
Nice.
says beets on burgers. It's illegal in 28
It
states.
should be illegal everywhere.
Wolfie says, it just went away. I did build the model, but it's in the parts bin for now. The deck plans are from the DS9 tech manual.
And M has a question. While you echo, I don't know if I would call myself an expert. Oh, that yours looks a lot better than mine.
Wow.
There's an explanation why the Defiant was so powerful despite being so small. So, in that first line, when Cisco comes back, he says it was an overpowered ship, and there's a flaw in the ship. They said the engines almost blew it up on the first test. So, think of it like a hot rod in space, where you've got, or like the Shelby Cobra, that, for your Mustang nut out there, the classic, the British, two-door coupe, small convertible with, of course, at first they had the 289 engine, but then they put the 427 big block engine. So it's like you had this massive rocket engine in this tiny, light little British convertible sports car. So
Just blow.
yeah,
the
and if you didn't know what you were
entire
doing,
exoskeleton off of the car.
you'd kill yourself in 2 seconds if you don't know how to drive the thing. So I think that's how they just define the Defiant as being totally overpowered. And of course they've got the quantum torpedoes and special weapons. Is meant to fight the Borg. So the only thing I never didn't make sense to me is why didn't Starfleet just build a ton more of these ships? It's kind of like a PT boat, like a PT 109 boat, I think is kind of the. And I was reading some background on this episode to refresh my memory, and there was a debate among Pillar and the writers about they're like, we need a ship, and you're like, well, you've got the runabouts, but you needed something more powerful. But they also didn't want to have a starship there all the time too. They didn't want to have a big starship,
Lemon pie. Hey,
Hey, lemon
and lemon
pie.
pie.
go ahead.
Yeah, so they didn't want to have a galaxy class starship there, of course, that gets blown up almost instantly. But they thought that would have, you didn't want to have anything where the families could be on the ship. So this is straight up warship. But the only thing I would think is Starfleet would have given given the space station maybe 4 or 5 or 6, or I think with the advanced tech they would be able to build churn these out a little bit faster. But of course that would have maybe messed up some of the storylines. But that's the only thing that always it's the symptom. You're the only starship within range that can actually help protect the Earth right now. You get that kind of trope all the time, which is fun because that lets our heroes save the day with overwhelming odds. But
And the ships are never ready.
yeah, ships are never ready.
You know
They'll be
that,
ready
right?
on Tuesday.
They're ready next Tuesday.
Yeah. God, I hated that in the movie. Oh, that's
Yeah,
another
that
one
was
I got a
dumb.
clip. Yeah.
So, what you got?
So let me show. Well, thank you for that, Wolfie. Let me show my.
Mrs. Dadman, yes, we do put over easy eggs on burgers in Australia and in Canada.
So here's my Defiant. So I picked that up.
Oh, that's nice.
So I picked that guy up on Fleabay years ago. So it's not as good shape as Wolfie's. Plus, she's been living in the basement. But I'll pick it up and show some of the special effects. And whoever put the decals on did a horrible job. Must have been a kid. So I never took the decal. Yeah, when I got it, I was like, look at the decals.
Can you buy a decal kit?
I probably could, and I could probably print, or I could probably print one on my laser printer.
Yeah, thanks
and
again,
redo
Wolfie.
it.
Appreciate you.
That was awesome, Wolfie. So here, let me grab my.
So how would you go
microphone.
about doing that? You're going to use some Goo Gone, pull the stickers off, scan them, print them on sticky paper, and then try again?
Well, someone might sell them, actually. I should look into that.
Oh, really?
Let me adjust the camera. We can always buy the decals for the models. The thing is, with this ship, it's not the scale model. So I'm sure Wolfie says, it's a rare Playmate ship.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
it's Playmates. Yeah,
very rare. Yeah, it's a Playmate. So this is the Playmate. So like if you're going for a model, you would see like they put the decals not supposed to go over those bumps there.
Yeah.
So the person who did it really
Was a
really
kid,
screwed. It must have been a kid.
Yeah.
Must have been a kid. So I can't, And my lights don't really work that well anymore. So part of the show, I went through my collection of flashlight bulbs. I was trying to look for a bulb that would work well. The front one kind of lights up, but the sides are supposed to light up here. So Wolfie, if you could DM me a picture of the instruction manual, I was trying to look for it, or maybe they say what types of batteries, but that would be much appreciated, because I got this just loose with the stand, and I have this hanging up, so that's where the stand fits in. But it's a really nice, the Playmates models kept getting better and better. There's the battery compartment there, but they did a better, kept improving as they went on. The first Enterprise I didn't think was that good, and TNG, but they have pretty, these are supposed to be toys too, so it's a nice paint job, and of course that's just the fishing wire I have to hang it from the ceiling. Then the front, kind of does like a Concorde. So there's the lights there. So it's a weird ship, but a cool ship. But it evokes Star Trek, even though it's a fighter ship, kind of like something you'd see, in Battlestar Galactica, or that kind of, obviously doesn't look like a Colonial Viper, but I think what they're trying to go for was that nose there was to try to have like a, fighter ship type look. Versus
I think
a
what would have
starship.
made that interesting is if that would have been like something that could break off and go into battle and like detonate or something.
Yeah, well, they did that in unfortunately, the new horrible Star Wars movie, or the prequel. Millennium Falcon had, that was the nose was an ejection ship,
I didn't know that.
And so the middle part, they retconned that, and then the middle part, that's why the middle was missing. I think originally they did it because it just looked cool. But yeah, there's some
This
nice.
bad boy is dirty.
I've cleaned it, but it came really dirty. And
what do you clean something like that with?
I
Do
just
you use rubbing alcohol and Q-tips, or like
I use Dawn because it's
Dawn,
soft. Dawn soap with a Q-tip and a toothbrush usually, because you don't want to take anything to take the paint off. So if you use something harsh like Fantastic, it's could take
It
paint
sounds
off.
like you're speaking from experience. You're like, so Fantastic to know.
Yeah. Yep. So let me turn my background noise suppressor off. So it might get loud. Well, it shouldn't get too loud, but that way you can hear the sounds of the ship. Otherwise, the noise canceling thing does. So, and Cal's saying, to its credit, at least the ship isn't controlled by Microsoft Sidewinder joystick. So here are the sound effects. So let's see if we. See how it's supposed to light up too, but it's not. You can't really see it with the with the spotlight. Well, here, if I turn this light off, let's see. But it's supposed to. She's supposed to light up, but let's see if I try it now. You really see a faint light. I was trying to change the bulbs and change the contacts, but yeah, see, it's not really. She's not lighting up, Captain. We need more power. Yeah, so I've got to figure that one out. But it's a great little ship, and I was lucky to get this on Playmates. And Wolfie's backing me up here. See, it's weathering. It's weathering.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
weathering.
Ship.
It's battle worn.
It's battle worn. Yeah, so it's not. So we'll put it on spin mode here, since I got this fancy dancy docking port. Here we go. He's gonna knock over Restless Leg Spider-Man. There we go. So yeah, it's a really nice, really well done ship. I think it's one of the better Playmates that they did.
The rotator that you got has improved sharing your museum like exponentially. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was.
Makes it so much easier. Remember before?
Yeah,
you're like, okay, hold on for a second.
Let me spin it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's got the spinorama.
Spinorama. Yeah. So that's yeah. See, I invested back in the channel. And actually, I did a short of Restless Leg Spider-Man today.
Yeah.
And it got like 5,000 views.
It's because he's cool.
Because he's cool, but then there were 33 people that gave Spidey a thumbs down. I was very saddened by that. I don't know who could give Restless Leg Spidey a thumbs down.
Really?
Come on, you really? I mean, come on, people. It's Restless Leg Spider-Man. Yeah. But
and your rock says the rotator rules.
So get to enjoy the ship in all its glory. Yep. It was a great idea, I think, to add this ship and something more powerful that Deep Space Nine, they could kind of kick some ass once in a while with the ship, and they weren't just stuck with runabouts.
They wanted to have the option of being able to go, you know, where no man has gone before. And
go somewhere,
because
right?
once they realized they were going to stay where everyone was going to stay, I think having that option, enhances the storytelling, especially over a prolonged period of time.
Yeah, especially with the the runabouts were cool. They were, upgraded shuttles and obviously had more, but they can't. Yeah, they didn't really. Yeah,
especially when you design a war.
Yeah, it's like when you run a runabout. It's kind of like is equivalent to the Liberty ships, which did help us win World War II, and they built a ton of those in Maine, and they slapped them together within days. But they were basically, trucks on the water. 150 caliber gun, I think, and they're basically sheer numbers with their protection. Same thing with a runabout. You can fight the Dominion with the runabout. It's not gonna happen. So I think it was a really great add-on. And then you can kind of say, oh, and the Cardassians designed the station so it doesn't look like the Federation station. So
that's a good point.
As much as it grows on you, and I do have the Playmates version of that. you want to have something that looks like Starfleet that you can kind of latch onto, and merchandising, as they say too. I don't think they were thinking of that originally, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Jill wants everyone to know that she is no longer time traveling.
Oh, she caught up. Yep.
Yep, she's caught up.
He's back to the future.
Yeah, and enigmatic drop bear now wants souvlaki.
What's the what?
Souvlaki.
Souvlaki?
Yeah, it's Greek food.
That's we say souvlaki. Yep. That's the spinach and pastry dish.
No, that's spanakopita.
I tried.
I know. I love it.
So what's the
souvlaki? Is marinated meat on a skewer, chicken usually.
Well, that sounds good too. I probably had that. Yep. And Wolfie's got a great point here. Yeah, originally Defiant was going to be the Valiant, but they didn't want another V ship.
What?
Because of Voyager. Yeah, because a lot of the debate was they knew Voyager was coming, so they didn't want to have another starship.
I did not know that. Let me put that up on the marquee. Hold on.
So we will see the prototype Valiant in a future Voyager episode, similar to the Nova class.
Mm-hmm.
So great point, Wolfie. Yeah, because they at this point, don't forget TNG's on the air, right? For these, I think. Right, TNG still. So we've got TNG, and they've already planned Voyager is in the works. So and they're designing the ship, obviously, and the ship, has some of these cues too. If you, not exactly, but in terms of being a much stouter, compact ship on Voyager, and I do have the playmates of that too. Thankfully, I was able to snag. That's a cool one too, because the nacelles actually push the button, and the nacelles actually close and open on the Voyager. I was actually able to change the batteries and fix that. I'm sure Wolfie he must have the Playmates Voyager too, I'm assuming.
I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about the ship. And JT Kirk loves Saganaki. Saganaki is very good. And I like that you love it.
I don't know what it is, but there you go.
It's a part of mezevis. It's like the little plates that Greeks eat. And saganaki is a cheese that you soak in milk and breadcrumbs and a little bit of flour and a little bit of salt, and then you put it into butter and you fry it until it's golden brown, and then you pour Greek alcohol on it, light it on fire, and extinguish it with a half slice of lemon. It's quite delicious and addictive. You can't have just one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like it's like M&M's. I get you.
Or clams.
The Defiant's getting dizzy.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty dang cool there, dude.
Look at this. I can remote control. I can send the Defiant another direction. I can slow it down. Yeah, just engineers love to screw with things, right? But, and Wolfie unfortunately says he doesn't have the Playmates Voyager, which is too bad because Wolfie should have one. And he turned the Voyager Playmate ship down because I just got the AMT model when it came out. AMT Defiant had the clearance deal from what I remember. Yeah, that's happened to me.
Guys, look who's here. Michael's here.
Oh my goodness, everyone.
Michael!
Great retro blasting. Good to see you there, buddy. He says, I've got the Defiant Voyager DS9 and the water on the brain Enterprise. Enterprise Enterprise D. We always call it Enterprise Duh. Amongst many other from this range. Great to see you there, buddy. And big congrats to the channel hitting 100,000 subs.
Congratulations,
on that.
Michael.
Yeah, the great retro blasting, my friends. Always honored to have you pop in there, brother. Hope you and him are doing well. Good to see you, buddy. So yes, indeed, this is very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot. I was lucky to pick these up on, as I said, Fleabag years ago, and I was trying to collect all the ships. And at one point, I had all these in our family room, and I kept adding them. And finally, my wife put her foot down. She's like, "That's enough." Like I would hide them on shelves and stuff up high. And back when you had those TV consoles that went like the whole length of the wall of your family room, with because you had to have like the console TV on there. You couldn't hang the TV on the wall. So I kept like finding spots to put Star Trek ships. She's like, "That's it. They're get these out of the room now." So I hung them all in the basement, and then I've been hanging in my room, and a bunch were in the attic. and I got to pull some of them out now too. And I hid one in the dining room, so there's still. I've got the Excelsior in the dining room on the top of the china cabinet. I kind of hid that in there, and she hasn't taken that down yet. But
Max with his Tarama Salata. Dude.
Termosalata.
Dude.
So, Max Redstone loves termosalata, which is a whipped caviar spread. So, good choice, Max Redstone. Good choice.
Well, we did it in sort of record time again. So thank you, of course, great Mark D showing us this, and thank you, Wolfie.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sending me the pictures of your Defiant collection. That was great to see those, buddy. Very cool
awesome
stuff.
Yeah, and Wolfie, I don't know if it's Wolfie on Twitter. I'm not sure if he is, but if you could,
I don't know
if you could,
he's on Instagram
or Instagram, or
I'm pretty sure he's on Instagram.
And my email is
I think I'm friends with him.
Is Marky with a C17@gmail.com. It'd be, I mean, don't go out of your way, but if you could send me those instructions from the Defiant, that would be, if you have them scanned, don't, but I would have much appreciated.
Oh, Chris Persia's running, by the way.
Happy to share. He said, thanks. Happy to share.
Buddy.
Yep.
Chris Persia is running. Looks like everyone. Good night to the great Vindicator Wrencher, Chris Persia.
I'm sending millions of kisses for your whole face.
I'm just going to shake hands, but I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Thank you so much, Chris, for all of your help, here and behind the scenes. I absolutely adore you and I love your company. And please tell your papa I said hi.
Be good, my brother. Well, we're about to wrap it up here, folks. It's been a wonderful night. As always, you've all been fantastic. And thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. 4 episodes on our gun. Now, again, here's next week.
Oh, sorry. I just thought you guys would want to see this. I'm sorry. I just wanted to pop this up quickly. Clobbering Times, no worry. Clobby, the extra show and tell segment was totally worth it.
Yeah, well, thank you, Cal. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Next week's episodes, again, as our wonderful, definitely got confirmation from our wonderful Jill, our communications officer. It's Second Skin, The Abandoned, Civil Defense, and Meridian. So those will be next week. Let's see here. Monday night, it'll be Mark C. Comics Talk. I think the great Andy Masterson might be popping in to join me. I'm not 100% sure yet, but he said he would try to be there. We'll hang out with him. But either way, I'll be here. Wednesday, the usual wild card. Thursday, the clubhouse. And then, of course, next Saturday Night Star Trek. Number one, any closing words?
I just want to thank all of the wrenches for all of the hard work that they do here. We have 3 wrenches, especially 4 actually, and they all work for the big guys. And they don't get any type of compensation. No. Nobody pays them. And yet here they are keeping our communities safe and making sure that our chats are places where people want to be. They want to make friends. They want to interact. So I just want to say, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, Eric K., Chris Persia, I love you. And you guys are just so generous with your time, and you have done nothing but build this community up with kindness, and you're just great ambassadors to this show and to this channel. And I love you guys very much. I also want to thank everyone in the chat for taking the time out of your schedule to make comments here and to create conversation. Without you, this show doesn't exist. And just hanging out with you and hearing how you feel and what you think. I think Trekkies are magnificent, and it is an honor and a pleasure to spend time with you talking about Star Trek. Thank you so much for every precious word you decided to share with us. A great honor. I also want to say, please follow my friend Mark. Let's get him like we got Clobby. It wasn't so long ago that we had to monetize Clobby. Let's get Mark to monetization. Can you do me a favor? If you have time and if you have the inclination, would you share Mark's YouTube channel on all of your socials? It's just a couple of seconds out of your day, but you know what? He would really appreciate it. And Mark is one of the few people out there who's doing it for all the right reasons. He does it because He loves talking about this kind of stuff. He loves sharing. He's a genuine geek, and obviously the owner of a future museum. So, helping him out would be so, so cool. And I just want to thank Clobby. Clobby, thank you so much for inviting me here, for letting me be a part of this show. And I love you. You're one of the best friends I've ever had, and you're totally cool. Thank you for creating this space. I know I speak for everyone when I say thank you for creating this marvelous space for Trekkies. You're the best. And that's it.
Thank you so much. We have a super chat
Thank you. Thank you.
From the great JT Kirk. Thank you. You're too kind, my friend. I appreciate it for $5. He says, thank you for once again creating the highlight of my week, Raquel, Clobby, and Mark D with a C. I am so happy I found your channel in this chat. And that is right back at you, my friend. You've been a fantastic friend of the show. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you so much, man. So thank you for that. And I appreciate all of you, of course. And you've been here for a good long time with this, JT. So thanks so much, buddy. Yin says, time spent talking about Star Trek is a great break from the horribleness of day-to-day real-world stuff. Yeah, especially at the moment. Yeah, I understand what you're saying there,
Love you, honey.
Appreciate you, buddy. Absolutely. Okay, Mark D with a C. Any final words before we get
out?
Yeah,
I just want to thank Raquel and thank you, Clobberin. Thank you, Raquel. You always make me blush. And I'm just doing this for fun, right? And get to hang out with all you great guys. And I'm fortunate to have amassed the kind of fun, it's a collection of loving Star Trek and comics and toys. It wasn't really, I got to buy this because it's going to be worth more someday. If I saw something I really liked, then I bought it. And once in a while, like Wolfie, I kick myself for not buying, some things, and or you don't have the money to buy them. Like I've never been able to get that. I was in college when the 1991 Hallmark Enterprise came out, and there was a stack of them at the Stanford Mall, and I'm like, when I got some extra money, I'll buy that in a few months. And I guess that obviously became a limited run, or they didn't make that many. They didn't realize how popular it would be. Duh, it's a Star Trek ornament, and the Enterprise, one of the most cool ships ever. Defiant is getting attacked by the Jem'Hadar there. But I was just fortunate enough to then have then every year I would buy buy the Hallmark ornament. There we go. Gotta have the Defiant not falling off the stand there. But it was just it's just a fun thing to do, and just super fun. And I want to give a shout out to Jill for that was so nice of her. She posted that on her social media, get me over 300. So now I think I'm up to 315 or something like that. So appreciate and it's always fun as a collector to share your collection. That's what's so nice, because it's great with YouTube and all this tech that we can show other people. If Raquel was saying you have a museum someday, but you have a virtual museum, which is great to be able to show this stuff and share the love of all these toys with everyone. Of course, we've got Retro Blasting in the crowd who just left a really nice super chat. You'll read in a second, but to see all those great videos and all those toys and Retro Blasting Central, and don't ever fix Darth Vader. Always keep Vader broken. But that's what's so much fun about this YouTube, being on YouTube is to be able to, watching YouTube is to be able to see all these things. And there's some people that don't have, huge numbers of followers, but there's some, great videos I watched today. Just some, people with toy collections. They've got maybe, 100 followers. Who cares? It was a great video. So it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate it. And here's to many more, and doing a lot of fun shows with you guys.
Thanks, man. And the Geekery tomorrow night?
Yep. Oh, yep. Sunday night. I got very long-winded, but Sunday night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking Shulky maybe a little bit, and maybe some Shulky, She-Hulk.
We'll talk it all right.
Andor, and actually
She-Hump.
She-Hump. And what I've really loved is House of Dragons has been really good. So and whatever we'll talk about
something.
We'll think of something. But thank you. Yep.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Of course, I want to thank my great buddies at Retro Blasting for that way too generous super chat, my friends. But I can't say that because I can't stand that.
You are the greatest. Yeah.
I can't stand that guy that you say is the greatest. I don't like him. So I don't even know who is that. Micah Blonzo. I don't even know who that is. But
He's a great guy. That's who he is.
Raquel's got to say it. I can't say it. It's just too embarrassing.
Retro Blasting says what we're all thinking, and he's giving a generous gift by the way of $20 to force the boss to read it, but he won't, so I shall. Michael Anto, you are the greatest.
No, that's not what it says. But anyway, hey, Michael, so you're the greatest, buddy, and I have proof on file. And it is indisputable scientific evidence that you, sir, and you and Melinda, who is your better half, that might make her even greater than you. Kidding. You know, I love you both. I love my retro plastic friends. And you are the greatest, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I don't know what to say. Thank you so much, sir. So
and Kal-El, not Kal-El, Tyrell, he did a call out and he just said that he loves everyone and everybody have, like a good rest of your weekend. And he's just a very sweet person. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Tyrell. Tyrell, I hope you had a good day at work and thank you so much for joining us.
Now, Max Redson knows what he's talking about. So, okay, fine. Michael Alonso is a jerkwad. I can prove that too. Trying to get Gary Kurtz to say George Lucas is a liar doesn't make me the greatest. No, it makes you you're my idol anyway, buddy. So you're the greatest to me. I love you, man. You're the greatest there. So I want to thank everybody. We're going to start doing our goodbyes, and I just want to look, Pleasant Valley Picker, just be okay. Go and rest, and don't worry about anything. Just come in and just be more respectful. But I know you don't think you did anything, but and we're not going to litigate that here anymore tonight. But we don't want to be unkind to anybody, so don't think unkindly. Just you did make some cracks there, something like that. Maybe you didn't think you meant to, or something like that. And Raquel felt like that you were criticizing her, you were making some remarks at her, and she answered accordingly, and she had every right to do so. But you're still welcome here. You can still come out. You're a friend, and we still continue your friend. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to sit here and just go over and over it. This chat still is friendly to you, and we're friendly to you. But sometimes when someone says something that one of us, because I've called you out before, and this time she did, and you can just let that go or not. But don't feel too bad. Just take care. He said, okay, you said you're sorry. Fine. That's great. We're going to leave it at that because we don't want any bad feelings for anyone here. We love all of our friends here. We like hanging out with all our friends. But there's certain times when you see something, you have to respond to it. That's all as far as I'm going to go, because I want to leave everyone with good feelings here. And, and just kind of, again, and I'm going to leave it at that for right now. Stop saying all those things about yourself. And stop saying, that you're having, I know you're having a bad night. Just go feel better about yourself and do not stress it. I'm telling you that now. That's an order from the captain. Now, all right, we're going to say our goodbyes. So, Pleasant Valley Picker, have a good night. Have a good weekend. The Comic Relief Crusader was here earlier. Let's see. J-Man was here earlier. He had to run. Okay, we have some friends who are still here, though. Brian Hepburn. Thank you for being here, buddy. Dadman Walking and the Dadman Clan were here.
Hail, Dadman.
Hail, Dadman. Kal-El 48. Always a pleasure, Kal-El, the super one. Scuba Pete and Leslie, of course. Hungry Boy. Thank you for being here, bro. Enigmatic Drop Bear. Thank you, ED, for all you do. Again, the aforementioned great Chris Persia. D. Bud Martin, as we mentioned earlier, of course. Michael Beacom and Cassandra Beacom, thank you both so much for being here tonight. Classic Comics was here. He had to run. Naradanax Amanda Bear. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Das Wolfen was here. Matt G was here. Wolfie. Thanks again so much, Wolfie, and for your contribution tonight. We really appreciate you. Matt G. Thank you, Matt G, for being here. We're at Dave G Sound. Thank you for being here tonight. Tyrell72. Thank you, buddy. The great Max Redstone. Thanks for those limericks. They were fantastic, buddy. I appreciate you.
Those are awesome. Yep.
Absolutely. Zatras. Anonymous. Thank you for being here. The great JT Kirk. Thank you. Mrs. Danman was here. JD Lewis. Midnight's Oblivion. Mr. Angel. Chef. Fabio 100. Keely Chow. Roll Tide. Sorry about that tide today, buddy.
Oh, my Yankees blew it in the bottom of the ninth, too. Oh, it was a bad day for Yankees, man. And we deserve it because we win too much, but yeah.
You do deserve it. Thank you, Frank Franklin. The Catman, a.k.a. Dee Dee Myers, and your wife. I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. Katie Dax. Love you, Katie. Mark Lurseth. Cavatino. Cavaliman Shea. Cassandra Bacon. I hope you have a wonderful night. Apollome's Minion and the Pepperoni. Bush McFadden, thank you so much. Monkey Jeebus was here. Jen Xer. Moon was Lemon Pie, thank you so much. And of course, the aforementioned great friend, my buddy, Retro Blasting, my fantastic friends. Once again, congratulations on 100,000, 100 bazillion.
That's awesome.
1K, 100K. I can't get it right tonight. But I want to thank everyone. Thank you for that contribution to Retro Wrestling. You're too kind, my buddy. So thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. You're the best. Let's all just have a wonderful rest of our weekend. Please enjoy these messages and then credits. And please, of course, number one's working tirelessly on these stories and stuff. Please,
everyone buy
go
them.
check out our stories. You know, you'll have the link. I'm going to put the link up. Thank you all so much. Good night, everybody.
The Defiant. Adrift but salvageable.
Tough little ship.
Little.